faculties at Richland and Giles County High Schools and all Giles County schools. When the time comes to sell your property or buy that dream spot, make sure you seek out one of the real estate professionals at First Realty Group. You can see their listings at www.frg1.com. Call them at 363-2644 or visit them on the east side of the Pulaski Square. Just look for that big rocking chair and find out why First Realty Group is first for a reason.
M&M Staffing LLC is your local connection when you're looking for your next job or your company is looking to fill a position. M&M Staffing is owned and operated by Melissa Bottoms Harper and John Harper. They staff various positions on multiple shifts and provide flexible services to assist their clients. Mercedes Houston, Cree Holt, and John Harper are all from Giles County and are trained to match their employees with the positions that best fit their skill sets. Applications are available at 450 Bennett Drive in Pulaski, on their Facebook page, and online at mnmstaffing.net.
Purchasing property is one of the biggest financial decisions you will ever make. So let the trusted professionals at Haney Realty and Property Management help you make those important decisions. Haney Realty and Property Management is your best friend in the real estate business. And like a best friend, Haney Realty and Property Management will be with you along the way, making sure you understand the process and getting property that you want at a fair price. So call your best friend in the real estate biz at 931-347-9150 or stop by the Haney Realty and Property Management office at 109 South 1st Street in Pulaski.
Candidates, make sure the voters know who you are, what you're running for, and why they should vote for you. With a wide range of campaign marketing materials from Holly's Printing, signs, banners, cards, stickers, promotional items, and targeted mailings are all proven ways to reach voters with your platform, and Holly's Printing provides all of these services and more. Choose the materials that best fit your needs, choose the design that matches your message, and choose the size that gets your message the most attention. Holly's Printing is your campaign materials headquarters. Call 363-3161 or visit them online at hollysprinting.com.
Hi, this is Jen Williams with Giles County Fire and Rescue. Responding to 350 incidents per year from 7 locations throughout our county, Giles County Fire and Rescue exists to save lives and protect property. Giles County's needs are best served by dedicated local volunteers, someone like you. Giles County Fire and Rescue offers the highest level of skills and training, and we are committed to the safety of our community and our responders. There are multiple ways to serve, and regardless of where you are in the county, there's a Giles County Fire and Rescue station near you. If you've considered becoming a Giles County Fire and Rescue volunteer or would like to donate, visit our website at gilescountyfirerescue.org.
Over the past year, property values across the country have risen more than 10%. Giles County is growing, and you need an established and trusted real estate partner to make sure you get the best price possible for your property. First Realty Group is that partner, celebrating their 26th year here in 2022 and looking forward to helping you make the big decisions that will affect you and your family for years to come. Visit frg1.com. Let them show you why First Realty Group is first for a reason.
M&M Staffing LLC is your local connection when you're looking for your next job or your company is looking to fill a position. M&M Staffing is owned and operated by Melissa Bottoms Harper and John Harper. They staff various positions on multiple shifts and provide flexible services to assist their clients. Mercedes Houston, Cree Holt, and John Harper are all from Giles County and are trained to match their employees with the positions that best fit their skill sets. Applications are available at 450 Bennett Drive in Pulaski, on their Facebook page, and online at mnmstaffing.net.
There's never been a better time to sell your property than right now. So let your best friend in real estate help you get the best deal when selling your property. Haney Realty and Property Management will help you evaluate your property and the market to help you find the best buyer and the best price. Throughout the process, your best friend in real estate will be there with you to help you make the best decision for you and your family. So call Haney Realty and Property Management at 931-347-9150 or visit their office at 109 South 1st Street, just off the Pulaski Square.
First Realty Group is a proud supporter of the students and faculties at Richland and Giles County High Schools and all Giles County schools. When the time comes to sell your property or buy that dream spot, make sure you seek out one of the real estate professionals at First Realty Group. You can see their listings at www.frg1.com. Call them at 363-2644 or visit them on the east side of the Pulaski Square. Just look for that big rocking chair and find out why First Realty Group is first for a reason.
Are you ready for your next challenge? I'm Ryan Cox with Giles County Fire Rescue. 7 stations in Giles County have fired up the call for volunteers to join forces for fire protection and emergency rescue response. No matter where you are in Giles County, there's a place to serve near you. Giles County Fire Rescue is always looking for bright and enthusiastic people to volunteer. Our members come from all walks of life. Serve and protect your family, your friends, your neighbors by volunteering with Giles County Fire Rescue. To volunteer or donate, visit our website at gilescountyfirerescue.org.
M&M Staffing LLC is your local connection when you're looking for your next job or your company is looking to fill a position. M&M Staffing is owned and operated by Melissa Bottoms Harper and John Harper. They staff various positions on multiple shifts and provide flexible services to assist their clients. Mercedes Houston, Cree Holt, and John Harper are all from Giles County and are trained to match their employees with the positions that best fit their skill sets. Applications are available at 450 Bennett Drive in Pulaski, on their Facebook page, and online at mnmstaffing.net.
Purchasing property is one of the biggest financial decisions you will ever make. So let the trusted professionals at Haney Realty and Property Management help you make those important decisions. Haney Realty and Property Management is your best friend in the real estate business. And like a best friend, Haney Realty and Property Management will be with you along the way, making sure you understand the process and getting property that you want at a fair price. So call your best friend in the real estate biz at 931-347-9150 or stop by the Haney Realty and Property Management office at 109 South 1st Street in Pulaski.
This is David Bushman. I'm the board chair of the advisory board for the Giles County Fire and Rescue. We have an organization of dedicated over 40 volunteers. They're on the front lines every day fighting fires, responding to emergency rescue situations in Giles County. We have a very dedicated family of firefighters. We're looking for more volunteers. Giles County could use as many volunteers as possible. We also could use financial support. As you know, it takes a lot of money to run 7 fire stations across the county. You can go on gilescountyfireandrescue.org. If you'd like to be a firefighter, we'd love to have you. Come help make a difference in your community and join our family. Again, I thank you from the bottom of my heart as a Giles County citizen.
Candidates, make sure the voters know who you are, what you're running
Everybody
for,
go ahead
why
and
they should
get in
vote
your
for you.
seats. We'll get started. I'll get started just a couple of minutes early, so that we have plenty of time. I'll give you all a heads up. Tonight is going to be probably about the same as last night as far as time goes, but tomorrow night, at least it's Friday night, because there's quite a few more people on the agenda for tomorrow night. Okay. So welcome everyone again tonight. Welcome to the Gault Fine Arts Center here at University of Tennessee Southern. And I want to say again how big of a huge thank you that I'd like to say for the staff here at UT Southern for making it possible for us to get in here in late notice. And I once again want to say a big thank you to the Kitchen 218 family. They worked really hard to host this event, and it was delayed because of the delivery of the HVAC unit that forced us to move it. And I think that we can all agree that we didn't want to be up there today, right? Okay. And once again, we do want to express our love and condolences to the folks at Kitchen 218 over the loss of Josh Kirkpatrick. One other thing about that change of venue and that I want to mention is that UT Southern has expenses to pay with this great air conditioning that we're enjoying, and the guys that are watching over us as security, and they are this is a tax funded facility, so they need to take care of the taxpayers' funds. So we are paying for this event to have this venue, and there's nothing wrong with that. It just is what it is. But we did reach out last night and today and have secured some folks who agreed to pay for this. And so I want to mention those guys because they stepped up whenever we found out, because we weren't planning on it was going to be free at first, but it ended up being a paid something we had to pay for, and so some folks have stepped up and helped us pay for it. So those sponsors are Kitchen 218, Melissa Green for County Executive, Graham Stowe for County Executive, Friends of Exit 14, ACLL Solar, and Giles Hotel Inn and Suites. So if you see any of these guys, yeah, thank you guys. And I also got to say my shout out to my friend Billy T. Young. He's right back here in the front row with us again tonight. Friends of Exit 14. We started this 4 years ago with no idea what we were doing, and we're still figuring it out. And I also want to thank our volunteer panelists, Ricky Keith and Brandon Bass. I introduced them last night. They are both local pastors, and Ricky is also a city councilman for the city of Pulaski, and Brandon is a auditor with the Department of Defense. They will be asking the questions tonight, and we'll do follow-ups as well for tonight's session. So the format's like this. Candidates will take the stage in groups based on the office, seat, and or district that they're from. Each candidate will be given a minute to introduce themselves and a minute at the end for closing remarks in case we didn't touch on something that they wanted to highlight. I didn't do this last night, and I noticed it. So I want to make sure that I urge the candidates, if there was a question and it went past you and you heard something that you wanted to comment on, or you wanted to add something at the end of that question, either give me give me a little wave or say something, because we went right past those and didn't really offer that. And I'd like, if you have something that you want to say at the end of a certain question, after it's all gone through, we'll give you that chance and everybody a chance to answer that too, okay? Each candidate will be asked the same questions to ensure that everybody has the same opportunities. Our panelists may ask follow-up questions if prompted by any of the answers. We're going to try to tighten up everything tonight so that tomorrow night we won't be here forever, but at least tomorrow night is Friday night, so we ain't got, unless you're going to community RFD on Saturday morning, which I urge you to do, we'll have plenty of time Saturday morning to overcome. I will do my best to keep people on time. However, I do not hit people over the head with the clock. We're trying to get information out to the voters, and we got to remember this is about Giles County. It's not about me. It's not about any candidate or any individual. It's about the overall what's best for this county. And so the more information our voters can get, the better off we are. I said this last night, I'll say it again. We are not going to get to every subject that everybody wants to hear about, including myself. I know that. Matter of fact, I've taken some of my own topics out of there because I wanted other people's topics in. All these questions, by the way, have been collected by the community, and we gathered them up because, as I'm sure you can understand, some of them were the same. And the questions that you heard last night, the questions you'll hear tonight, the questions you'll hear tomorrow night, all came from that and our coverage, the Pulaski Citizens coverage of the county government. So just know that as much as we want to get to all these issues, we could do this for a week probably, and maybe get to all the issues and have enough time to discuss them the way that we want to. And I'm going to say this again: every single person in this room is an adult, and every person around you each and every person here expects the others around them to muster up enough self-control to not speak out while we're having these answering question sessions. And last night was amazing. Thank you to the guys that were here last night. And it's not been a problem in the past. It wasn't a problem 4 years ago, but it still bears saying that everybody just respect the people around them while somebody's trying to answer a question, and let's not be speaking out. If that happens, whoever does it will be asked to leave. And that includes the candidates. I would like to try to thank everybody again, as I said last night, but I'll do that in a column in the paper, hopefully for next week, if I can find enough time to write it. But I don't want to waste any more time because it's, like I said, this isn't about me. It's about Giles County and getting this information out. I am going to thank our sponsors for Pulaski Citizen live streaming. Any event you see us stream live on our Facebook page or on our YouTube channel, these guys are our sponsors. First Realty Group, Giles County Fire and Rescue, Haney Realty and Property Management, Holly's Printing, and M&M Staffing, LLC. With all that said, let's get started. We'll make a couple announcements. I'll probably, because I'm thinking about it now and I don't want to forget it. We've had one of our candidates who's fallen sick tonight, and Nell Guthrie wanted to be here, but she cannot, and that means we'll have 2 people in District 3. However, we did add a candidate tonight. Mr. Glover from District 6 will join the guys at the end of the night from District 6. And with that said, we do have our first candidate tonight is Tony Reisner for trustee. And Tony, you can make your way on up here. Tony is the only candidate up here on this, and this happened last time too, where we had just one candidate up. So he's not the first one to do it. All right, Tony, if you'll give me just enough time to sit down over there, and we'll get started. And oh, I'm sorry, I forgot the prayer in the Pledge of Allegiance, and I do not want to start without that. So at this time, if everybody will rise, Brandon will say the prayer, and Ricky will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let's pray. Dear Lord, first and foremost, we want to thank you for the opportunity to gather here as free people and to see these candidates. And Lord, we thank you for these candidates that are willing to give their time in service of our county. And Lord, we also want to give thanks for all the people that have come before us that's laid the groundwork for the freedom that we enjoy. And Lord, above all, we want to thank you for the men and women of our military who ensures that we keep those freedoms that we have been given. And it's in Christ's name that we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sorry about that, guys. That was the most important thing. I'm sorry about that. All right, just give me a second to get seated, and we'll get started. Thanks.
All right, we're good to go.
All right.
Let's start with this one. As trustee, please explain what you understand the duties of the trustee to be and how that fits into your vision for the office over the next 4 years.
Okay, we do an introduction first.
Yeah, that's
I'll copy Melissa from last night. Sorry about that.
You go right ahead and then I'll.
Don't change the question now, don't make it hard.
Yeah, we sure shake this up.
I am Tony Reisner. I am running for Giles County trustee. I appreciate everybody's vote, but off the bat, I'll ask that. That's an important office for the county because they collect all the tax money. So there's quite a bit of money goes through there. That's a very important office that a lot of people forget about. But it's one of the main offices, as a lot of the county officials tell you, because that's where they get their money to run this great county we've got. So it would be a pleasure to be your Giles County trustee. I've got 32 years of experience in retail and management experience. I've graduated college and got several civics groups and all that kind of stuff under my belt. So I feel my experience, I'm the best candidate for the job.
Very good. So you touched on the question, but I will read it again. Please explain what you understand the duties of the trustee to be and how that fits into your vision for the office over the next 4 years.
Well, as you know, the Giles County trustee has three main parts. The main part is to collect the taxpayers, the property tax for all the property in Giles County. The second one is to reconcile all the disbursements that's been paid out and balance the checkbook, if you say. They're the county banker. So all the funds that's been deposited by all the offices has to go through and reconcile and be audited by the state through the trustee's office. And the third is if there's any idle funds, the trustee is responsible for investing those if we have any idle funds. Now, my vision for the next 4 years, the office has been run great. I don't think nobody has any complaints. Ms. Curtis and her staff has done an awesome job, and I'd like to continue that. My vision I'd see in the next 4 years is technology. Looking forward to the 2030, 2040, 2050 is update the office to their higher technology. Since I've been in technology all my life, running the Radio Shack and the stuff. So technology to me, computers and stuff. So I would like to bring to the office as something there is the technology part of it. Because my platform when I ran 8 years ago was to get the taxpayers online and stuff, which the office is. But I'd like to take and upgrade and maybe upgrade the software if possible and take us to the next level.
Mr. Reisner, as a follow-up to that question, you mentioned you did graduate college, but you also mentioned that this office is like the banker for the county. And you mentioned reconciliation, you mentioned collecting the tax money. Could you highlight what your education is in and how that can be pertinent to this office?
Well, I graduated from Martin Methodist College, was down at UT Southern, and thank y'all for having this event and all the people here. I forgot to say that at the front of it. So, and my minor is accounting. So I've done a lot of accounting experience too, running business. I do it all, the budgeting, the accounting, all the stuff that run a business. So I've been involved with it, a bunch of civic groups and stuff that I've done all the accounting for. So I feel with my experience, 32 years and stuff on it, and I would love to serve as the next trustee and give back to the county that give us so much, because I was in business here for 20 years, so I like to give back to the county for what they give me.
All right, next question. Several questions were posed by citizens concerning county offices being open later on weekdays and possibly on Saturdays for better access. What are some ways you would like to make the trustee's office more accessible to citizens?
Well, I mean, yeah, that's a hard question because, everybody does, but, different people pay, and that's one of the things. I'm not opposed to doing any of that, but also if we can figure out a way to, since automatic drafts and all that kind of stuff is to make it easier for people to pay their taxes. If it takes being open later or doing it, especially during tax time, I'm not opposed to that. The thing is, the office is for the people of Giles County. I would just be running the office if I got lucky enough to be the trustee. I'm just managing the office. The office is for the Giles County people, and that's what we want to look for. And, you need to keep in mind as running as public officials that you're running for the people of Giles County, not just for yourself.
You touched on this question also a little bit, and as Scott had said earlier, these were questions that were posed by citizens. But what experience or specific strengths do you offer to the trustee's office if elected?
Well, my strength would be the year's experience and the counting, because if you're in that, some people don't like that. I love math. That stuff comes easy for me. Speaking is not my forte, but as you probably can tell. But I mean, the accounting part of it is what I like, the numbers, the balances and checks that you have to have. And I feel that my experience and my life experience over 32 years gives you a unique experience to be the trustee. It's kind of hard to know exactly what the trustee does if you're never in that office, because I'm sure they do a whole lot more vast array of stuff that I'm not even aware of. But I'm willing to learn, and and my staff, if I get lucky enough to be the trustee, they'll be there, and I'm sure they'll help. So what I want to do is just do the best job that it possibly be done for Giles County, and keep the standard as it's high now. Is keep it best for Giles County, and I'm sure the county officials want clean audits and all that to apply for, because I think about $17 million goes through that office a year. So, there's a lot of money goes through that office, has to be accounted for properly, and you've got state funds and you've got federal funds that come in that sometimes by me talking is kind of hard to identify. We got to make sure they get right in the right funds, because you have to make sure the county's not overdrawn and stuff. So it's more of a unique job than just collecting taxes one time a year. The job is year round. It's more to it than just say, hey, come pay your property taxes, I'm done.
You mentioned the technology earlier. In addition to the technology upgrades, what goals do you have for the office of trustee if elected?
Well, the main one would be the technology to do it. And my goals is to keep the office for the public. My office, if I get lucky enough to win, will be open to the public, because it's a public office. It's not my office. I'll just be the manager of that office. But, and also it's been run very efficient and very good, and to work with the financial management and the county executive to make sure everything rolls free and clear, and all the transactions is nice and neat, because it is audit every year, and you have to deal with auditors, and sometimes they're kind of picky. because in accounting, part of my thing was auditing, which I do love. So they can get kind of picky. So you got to make sure that everything is up board and done properly.
All right, that's all the questions we have that was turned in by the community. We'll give you one more minute to kind of have some closing remarks.
Okay. And one question I've been asked, and it may go without saying, but would I keep the staff? And my response to that is, by all means. You've got two ladies in there who's been there for several years, and why would you want to come in and try to change your staff? Not only would I want them to stay, I would beg them to stay, because I'd be new, and I got to learn the job. So why would you want to get rid of those? Do it? That's one of the questions that I get asked most. Then the other question is, what do you do? I mean, what's the trustee do? I don't really understand the trustees. And that's one of the jobs, the trustees position usually is just kind of overlooked. It's a very important job to Giles County, but it's kind of just overlooked. So I would love to do and serve as a Giles County trustee if the voters would be willing to vote me in August the 4th.
Good.
My daddy would say that was the first mistake I've made today, but y'all know that wasn't. It was my second. So anyway, not letting him make his introduction first. Thank you, Tony, for your time. And I didn't say this earlier, and I want to make sure I say it. Thank you to all the candidates who come here to step up here, as Tony shows, and even I'm not a speaker that much myself, so. It's not always easy to sit up here and say these, to face these questions, and the guys that showed up are the ones that are important as far as I'm concerned. And obviously not throwing any shade at anybody, but still the ones that are here are the ones that are important. Now, we are going to take a real quick break. I wouldn't get up and leave if you want to hear what's coming up next. We're going to change the table up a little bit. We'll take this quick break. We'll take another quick break after the county clerk's office. And then, so we're probably not going to get up and take any like get up out of your seat breaks. But then after the District 3 Commission guys get up here, we will take a break long enough for everybody to do whatever they need to do. So you probably just give us just a second. We'll get this table swapped up.
Students and faculties at Richland and Giles County High Schools and all Giles County schools. When the time comes to sell your property or buy that dream spot, make sure you seek out one of the real estate professionals at First Realty Group. You can see their listings on
Candidates are going to be the county clerk.
www.rg1.com.
Candidates, that will be Lee Breimer and Carol Wade. She on her way? Okay. I think Carol's on her way.
She didn't know it was going to be that quick.
Well, yeah. Y'all thought I was kidding, didn't you? As soon as Carol gets up here, we're going to let these guys introduce themselves before we start the questions.
I have a written introduction on top of my page.
Oh, yeah. I'm getting all kinds of good signals from the back. Just want to remind everybody that all of these debates are being streamed live on the Pulaski Citizen Live YouTube channel. There's a link to that on our Facebook page. If you can't find it, just go to the Facebook page, click the link. You can see last night's events. You can see tonight's events and Friday. And hopefully, as quickly as we can, we're going to turn this around. We're going to split everything out so that if you just want the county clerk, you can just click on the county clerk, and you don't have to dig through everything else. And then also, PES3P TV is also going to be airing these in the same way. So you'll have every opportunity to see them, share them with your friends that don't know about it. And because like I said, the biggest thing is get all this information out to the voters in Giles County. welcome you guys to the table. We'll start with Carol, allowing Carol to introduce herself. After she's done, we'll let Lee introduce herself, and then the question will start. Just give me 1 second if you don't mind.
Well, good evening. I thank you for having this event tonight. I'm Carol Wade. I'm lucky enough to be the county clerk for Giles County. I have served this county for 20 years, and before that, I worked for 2 different clerks for several years. I worked for W.C. Tomlin, and then I worked for Emily Townsend. I've enjoyed the job that I get to do. You know, they say when you love what you do, you don't work a day in your life. So I have enjoyed what I do. We've got a lot of services that we provide, and we're happy to do that. And I appreciate your vote. Thank you.
I'm Lee Breimer. How are y'all? I love Giles County. I think Giles County is awesome. It is still small, but yet big. I want to work for the citizens of Giles County. I want to help any way I can. I think the county clerk office would be amazing to have so that I can meet more of the people that I already don't know. I think I run into everybody I know. But anyway, I just think that it would be a really cool job. I would do the best of my ability. I know Carol has got a lot more experience than I have, but I am willing to learn. I did work in the DA's office. I also worked as a paralegal. I also worked as a school teacher. I have several different activities that would fall into suit with the same job. And I know that I would supervise the office, and thank you. Sorry.
Question number 1, and we'll start with Ms. Wade. Please explain what you understand the duties of the county clerk to be and how that fits into your vision for the office over the next 4 years.
Well, the county clerk's office, I guess, of course, the thing most people realize about us is that's where you come to get your tax. But the county clerk is the clerk of the county commission. We get the minutes together, we get the agenda together and get it out to the county commissioners, and of course the county executive usually provides the resolutions that we have to draw up. The finance office provides the amendment resolutions that we do. And of course, at the county commission, the county executive presides, and I sit beside her and take notes. And then after the commission is over, we do the minutes and provide them to who needs them. Of course, like I said, our other duties are vehicle title and registration. We do driver's license. We have partnered with the Tennessee Department of Safety. We do driver's license renewals, renewals of IDs, renewals of gun permits, and we do limited transactions with CDLs. Our office is a passport acceptance agent. We've been doing that since 2003. We accept notary public applications, and they're filed with the county commission. When you come into our office, if you do need something notarized, we offer that service free in our office. We do marriage license, hunting license, manufactured home decal permits. We collect hotel motel tax. We do business tax, issue building permits, boat registrations. If you are a business in the county and you want to have a beer license, you apply for that through our office. We collect beer taxes, and also our office, the newest service we have is fingerprinting through Identigo. Thank you.
I'm sorry. I know that the county clerk watches out over the vital records. I know that they are a tag provider. I know that, you have to have PR when your customers also come into the office. Most of the time, if there was something I didn't know, I would ask somebody that already had experience in that specific spot. But I am willing to learn. I know it would take a little while for me to learn it, but I believe I would pick up on it pretty quick. And I would love to work for Giles County, so please vote for me, Lee Brummer.
Very good. Our next question, with an incumbent, this is maybe a little one-sided, but we'll pose it as written. What specific experience or skill set would you have for this office? Lee?
Me?
Start with you, Liz.
When I was a paralegal, I had to do a lot of bookkeeping and that sort of stuff. I don't know if anybody's familiar with the Crane. I used to do his accounting work for him. I've done a lot of secretary work. It's not my genre. I really like landscaping better, but I have had a lot of experience in bookkeeping and that sort of stuff. Like I said, when I was working on computers, though, it was floppy disk oriented. So you put everything in the little cursor and put it in the floppy disk in the drawer. But now everything's like, boom, there. So everything has changed a whole lot. But I believe all the experience that I've had in the commission office, the tax appraisal office, the DA's office, and running in and out of the courtroom, it's probably going to give me a lot of heads up on that.
Well, the experiences, I started working at the county clerk's office. When we first started, we had typewriters and pencils and paper. Well, we always did. And so I kind of got in on the ground level of turning into a computer person. When they first introduced computers in the office, it was exciting. I took a class or two at Martin College. I went back to school at night. Up here when they had night classes, and I graduated with an associate's degree, and then when they had the chance to get the 4-year degree, I graduated again, got my accounting degree through Martin College. So besides learning bookkeeping from Mrs. Gladys Bonds, who was the lady that taught me how to do the bookkeeping, and of course now we do it all on the computer. Everything is done on the computer, which it's really lots easier with the computer. I know that's hard to believe, but it really is lots easier, except when the computer doesn't want to cooperate. But anyway, I appreciate the opportunity to get to do what I've done. I appreciate so much the things that we've learned, and of course, every day is a new adventure in our office because there's so much stuff that constantly is changing. So you do have to kind of keep up with it, but I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, our next question, and we'll start with Ms. Wade. Same question we posed to Trustee. Several questions were posed by citizens concerning county offices being open later on weekdays and on Saturdays for better access. What are some ways you would like to make the county clerk's office more accessible to citizens?
Well, basically, if you want to do an internet renewal, we are open 24/7 because anytime anybody wants to renew their license plate, if that's all they need, it is available on countyclerk.com or something like that. We also work with people if you're out of town, and we have a lot of people that are out of town. When we need their signature, we work with them. We email paperwork to them. We let them sign, as long as we know it's them, email documents back. And plus, we have that great drive-through so that people can drive through there, don't have to get out of their car, don't have to come up the steps. That's just the best thing that we have been able to do in the last 4 years is add that drive-through. Appreciate it.
I agree.
I believe the office could be open on Saturday. I'm sure that would be something that we could discuss, but it sounds like it's pretty accessible as far as the computer and the drive-through and everything that Carol's got going on if you're disabled or whatever. I don't know if it needs any improvement in that area, but if it does, we will talk about it, discuss it, try to work it out where it is more accommodating for everyone. Another thing, like I said, like she said, it would probably be an adventure every day because I'm sure there's always something going on that needs to be taken care of. So, thank you.
Going forward, what goals do you have for the Giles County Clerk's Office?
Well, I'm not sure if anything really needs to be changed. It sounds like Carol and her crew have done an awesome job. She has done an excellent job running the office. If there's something, like I said, that needs to be updated, we'll have to discuss it. I would like to keep everybody on staff when I get the position. And I believe, that everybody there can help teach me also. And I want it to be a fun and, I want everybody to be relaxed when they come in. Sometimes you get nervous or whatever. I don't want any of that. I just want to do my job and do it for Giles County.
The thing I see that I would like for us to do is we have inserted the older records, the older marriage records back to the early 1900s in our office so that we can research those. Like if somebody calls in and they need their marriage record, we can put in their last name and find it just in case they didn't spell it right or something. I would like to be able to, our old county court records, we've got some that are in books, huge books.
Yeah.
Those I would like to get scanned in so that we could research through them. I think that would be helpful because right now, if you need something that's not scanned in, we have to kind of take the book out, look page by page to find what it is. And of course, there's lots of history in our county commission record books. There's lots of history in our building and in our county. And that's what I would like to see.
All right, our next question, we'll start with Ms. Wade. What do you see as the biggest challenge for the county clerk's office, and what would you do to address that challenge?
The biggest challenge we have is change, constant change. And you just have to be ready. You just have to, of course, we deal with a software company who they're on it. We have the whole state of Tennessee uses a whole state of Tennessee county clerks, except maybe one or two, uses the same software company for vehicle title and registration, marriage, the whole program. And we have somebody to call, whenever something new comes up, they are on it. They get things changed. Just like I know y'all heard the announcement this week about the tags. Starting July 1, if your tag runs out July 1 to June 30 of next year, you're going to get that tag for $5.25 instead of $29 if it's time to renew your tag. Now, I talked to somebody today and they were like, how are y'all going to do that? I was like, BIS is going to take care of it. And of course, a lot of stuff we got to be ready. Some stuff, there's always, Murphy is the guy that messes up everything. So, but you just got to be ready and work around him. And thank goodness we have a good software company that takes care of stuff.
Just one follow-up question to what you just said, so everyone will know of that discounted cost. How much of that would have been to the county?
None of the part they discounted would go to the county. The $5.25, $2.50 is our clerk fee, and then I think there's the other fees are like part of it goes to Department of Safety, part of it goes to there's certain people that have had a portion of the cost of a license plate added to the cost of a license plate. So you're paying, it goes to different agencies, and those agencies, the state did not cut that from them.
So there's no loss of revenue to the county?
No, sir. It's the state's gift to the county, to the citizens of Tennessee.
Maybe repeat the question.
Ms. Brown, what do you see as the biggest challenge for the county clerk's office, and what would you do to address that challenge?
Well, with not being in there, what I would try to do is run it as smooth as it needs to be run. The biggest challenge, I would guess, would be, like Carol said, everything is always changing. Just be ready for that change, be ready for that upgrade, be ready for whatever's coming at you next. I believe that the discount for the tags is an excellent idea. I'm really glad we don't have wheel tags. So, the biggest challenge, I guess, would be to learn and make sure that I am properly respecting every person in Giles County. That would be my main thing, to make sure that everybody in Giles County is taken care of.
All right, I think that's all the questions we had for you guys. So we'll start with Lee this time and let you just tell us anything that we didn't touch on that you'd like to hear. You got about a minute.
Okay. Well, like I said, I love Giles County. Giles County is an amazing area. The folks here are awesome. If you're not kin, no, I'm just kidding. Just about everybody's kin anyway. So, everybody around here will help you any way they can. Everybody is nice. Real Southern people. I know we have a lot of people coming into Giles County, and everything is, it'd be good for me to know Spanish, So, but other than that, I believe that Giles County is awesome, and I would love your vote. And I'm Lee Reimer, and I'm running for your Giles County Clerk.
And I just want to thank you for this opportunity. Like I said, I've enjoyed my job as the county clerk of Giles County. We're always looking for new opportunities to help the county. We're always looking for new opportunities to draw people to Giles County. And of course, like I said, our latest service, the fingerprinting, we've had people come here to Pulaski to get fingerprinted from Pensacola, Florida, from Montgomery, Alabama, from everywhere else. And those people that come to our county just for that one service, some of them stay in the hotels, some of them stop at the restaurants. And we just appreciate that opportunity. I appreciate the opportunity to be here, and I would appreciate your vote of confidence. And thank you. I'm Carol Wade.
Thank you, guys. All right, this is going to be another one of those quick breaks, y'all. Don't go too far. We're going to swap the table up, and our next guys up, if you'll be ready, are Mike Cesarini and Tammy Pierchild. So I think we got everything set up. We'll get our panelists back here in just a moment. They thought y'all think I'm kidding when I say quick. And while I'm here, I will say again, in case somebody missed it just a few minutes ago, these are all being live streamed on Pulaski Citizen live YouTube channel, and also you can get that link from our Facebook page. If you can go straight to YouTube, or you can do the link through the Facebook page. They will be available all the way up through. Actually, if you wanted to go back and look at 2018, you could go look at it right now on Facebook. So they will be available into perpetuity, I guess, as long as the internet's around, right? Welcome, guys. This is Mike Cesarini, and this is Tammy Pierchowski. I would like to remind everybody that Annelle Guthrie was going to be here. She fell ill this evening and was not able to make it. She wants to be here, but could not. Thank you, guys, for being here. Give me just a second. We'll get started. Well, my guys aren't back yet, though, are they? Well, I'll have plenty of time to get to my seat.
I've got those questions down there at my seat. Oh, yeah. Well, that's fine. Well, Brandon's on his way. Mike, if you would, go ahead and introduce yourself.
How much time do I have?
1 minute.
It takes me a long time to introduce myself. My name is Mike Cesarini, Commissioner for District 3. I'll be asking for your vote for re-election. For those that don't know me, I was born in Cincinnati, Ohio. I was raised in a small town in West Virginia. We weren't the poorest town in West Virginia, but we were in the running. Can you hear me all right? We had dirt roads, trailers parked along the road, a lot of cars up on blocks. Let you know I'm from humble beginnings. At 8 years old, I got my first job in a paper route. 6 days a week, rain, snow. Started with 32 papers, and when I gave it up when I was 16, I had 145 papers. Doesn't sound like a lot, but for every day on a bicycle, at the most, I made $10 a week. Considering my mother made $40 a week working in a factory, that was a lot of money. At 10 years old, I bought my first piece of property. It was a vacant lot at a tax sale. Just let you know that I have a background in pinching pennies. I think that's part of my strong suit. I see my job as a county commissioner of watching your money and making sure that we don't waste it. Thank you.
1 minute and 30 seconds.
Thank you, Scott. My name is Tammy Perchowski. My husband and I bought a farm here on the north end of the county 32 years ago. Raised our 3 beautiful children. It's the most beautiful county in the state. We were from North Alabama, so it was kind of flat down there. I really love the rolling hills, so we just loved making our home here. Immediately upon arrival, we started getting involved with the community because we knew this is where we're going to raise our family. We really wanted to get rooted in. Got involved with the Boy Scouts, right? Scout troops, ball teams, ballet dance. I taught ballet and tap for 14 years. One of the most rewarding jobs I held here was I was the host of the Pulaski TV Today. And I was able to showcase our beautiful county and focus on positive impact topics for 7 years. I was in the Pulaski Rotary Club for 8 years. I've served on the Advisory Council for Columbia State Commercial Entertainment Program. I've been on the board of directors for the Boys and Girls Club and the Chamber of Commerce. I'm currently the co-chair of the Advisory Council on Inclusive Recognition and Acknowledgement, where we focus on building up and not tearing down. Many of you know me from Star Theater. I've served on the board there for 17 years, the past 7 being the executive director, doing everything from marketing, producing, grant writing, and talk about penny pinching. When you run a nonprofit, you really do know how to penny pinch. So I'm versed in that for certain. I'm an advocate for strong education in a community with an emphasis on arts and historic preservation. In a nutshell, I'm a people person. I have a passion for the lives of all Giles Countyans. I have immensely enjoyed being a leader in all of these capacities in our community, and I just want to take this to the next level. I am very excited about the opportunity, and I am humbly asking for your vote as commissioner for Giles County.
All right, guys. All right, question number 1, and we'll start with Mr. Cesarini.
Thank you.
Paying to keep county employees, including teachers in Giles County, is an ongoing problem. How do you propose the county commission balance the responsibility for fiscal responsibility and the need for commensurate pay for county employees?
This was a question that was brought up last night. If money was no problem, how could we improve the teachers' pay? It comes down to priorities. It comes down to deciding what is important, what is the most important. I come from a family of educators. My wife taught for 32 years. My sister taught for 30 years. My daughter's a teacher. My niece is a teacher. My other sister's a teacher. I understand that to become a teacher is a calling. You have to have it in your heart, but it shouldn't be a sacrifice. And I'm afraid it is. That's why we don't have more men teachers. I mean, how can you afford to buy a house with a starting pay of $40,000 a year? So we have to look at the total budget. We have a very strong economy. We have a very strong county. But when it comes down to teachers' pay, they're always the last in line. So I have to go back to, and I thought the first question was going to be, what is the responsibility of county commissioners? It is, in fact, our responsibility to make the tough decisions. So when it comes down to who's going to get a raise, the last 4 years, the police, the sheriff's department, the jailers, they've all gotten a raise. The ambulance committee has gotten a raise. Teachers haven't gotten a raise. They got a raise the first year, and they got a raise this year. That's not putting priority on education. Now, what can we do? We just have to sit down and say, where can we cut the budget? Where can we cut the budget? It doesn't make any sense to say we're going to increase taxes if we waste money in projects that are not our priority.
Would you repeat that, please?
Yes, ma'am. Paying to keep county employees, including teachers in Giles County, is an ongoing problem. How do you propose the county commission balance the responsibility for fiscal responsibility and the need for commensurate pay for county employees?
I agree with Mr. Cesarini. When we first moved to Giles County, we had elected to homeschool our children. And we did so all the way through. That was, I consider myself a teacher for that many years, so I understand the job that it takes and the patience it takes, even with my own children, let alone everyone else's children as well. I find it deplorable that football players and sports folks get paid the absorbent amounts of money, and teachers who are taking care of our future get so little. So if I'm elected to this position, I will absolutely work with our commissioners to work on that budget and to cut the budget and to make sure that our teachers are taken care of. It would be great to have a new school for our community. We'd love to have build up and more and progressive growth that is in a controlled manner. But in order to have a nice school, we've got to be able to retain the teachers to be able to serve in those schools. My son-in-law is an educator and is the breadwinner in their family, and I understand that struggle. It's desperate, and I do think we do need to do something about that.
Before you say anything else, did you have a follow-up on that? Okay, go ahead.
As a follow-up to both of you, currently our county commission is working in telling each department they need to make budget cuts now. Both of you mentioned that the budget would have to be cut in order to increase teacher salary. Could you be more specific on where you think those cuts could go?
We've already made the decisions. And again, we kicked the can down the road. We have not had a balanced budget in the last 3 years. We spend more money than we take in. Just give you an example. We're talking now about a new ambulance building. We're talking about a new high school. We're talking about developing exits 1, 6, 14, and 22. We're talking about $90 million in school renovation funds, and we haven't even discussed the courthouse. So where does the money going to come from? We have to make some pretty tough decisions. I mean, that's just where it comes down to. Can I give you a magic bullet? No, there's 21 commissioners. 21 commissioners, and they all have an opinion. I applaud Melissa Green and the job she's done the last 4 years, but it's like herding cats. They're all going in different directions. They all have different priorities. But we have to make sure that we keep our priorities straight. And for me, that's education. That has to be number one. That's our future.
Not serving currently in the commission, that's a little difficult of a question. But I do sit in on the budget meetings. I do go to the commission meetings. And yes, it's going to be a task. We are going to have to make some very, very hard decisions. But where do we start? We have to be able to sit down and determine that the teachers and the future of these children have got to come first.
Very good. This continues in that vein. As a follow-up to last night, the question was posed hypothetically if funding wasn't an issue. The priority would be the same with funding being an issue, obviously. If that is the number one priority, if dollars and cents was not an issue, it would still be the number one priority with that being an issue, and obviously it is. The county commission is ultimately responsible for funding the Board of Education and the schools. Do you think the county commission has done enough in its efforts to fund schools, and what would you add to that discussion as a commissioner? And Tammy, that'll go to you first.
Okay. To add to the discussion, repeat just the last question,
Okay.
the actual part of the question.
Do you think the county commission has done enough in its efforts to fund schools, and what would you add to the discussion as a commissioner? To add to that, any ideas on funding streams or possible cuts to permit additional funding?
I'm not sure where, because I'm not on the commission, I don't know where the cuts could come from. I do feel that if we want to have a strong community, we're going to have to find the places to get it from. And if we need to research new funding streams, perhaps there's something out there that we haven't looked into. Maybe we can go steps farther in other areas to try to find ways to get more money to come into the schools. I know that this is another thing that I feel very passionate about with the school shooting that happened recently. Brought back a flood of memories from years ago when we first moved here. I have ideas that I would like to help out in the schools, and you know, we have tornadoes here in the South. We don't have shelters that are adequate in the schools or in our community to help with that. We have these possibilities of things happening where you might have an active shooter in a school. I would love to see money coming into a school, not only for the teachers, but to fortifying the schools and perhaps building structures within schools where kids can go and be safe from shelter, from storms, from shooters, from whatever situation out there might happen. Again, that's going to cost money, but is that important to us? Do we care that much about it? The industry and the housing and all of the things that happen that have to fall into place to make your community strong. You want to have, you want to be able to take care of your schools first. There's such a broad thing that we have in front of us, and we have an opportunity, but we just need to sit down and work together and come up with new ideas to do that, because clearly what we're doing now isn't covering it.
I had the opportunity or the honor to serve on the vestry at my church for many years. And one of the things that we discussed every meeting was that we are the stewards of the bounty of the church. As a commissioner, we're the stewards of the treasury of the county. People look at us and say, don't waste our money. I mean, in fact, when you're running, they say, don't make any more boondoggles. And I'm thinking about the Hunter Smith building many years ago. And so at that point, though, you say, we're doing the best we can. We've squeezed this dollar. We've pinched this penny. We've done everything we can. But we have to now come back to the congregation and say, please, dig a little bit deeper in your pockets. So at this point, I have to say that we've got a sales tax referendum coming up. is 25 cents on $100. 25 cents on $100. If you're going to Walmart or Davis and Eastlick or Johnson's now, you're already paying it. We're talking about extending it into the county, and more importantly, to the 4 exits. Everybody that comes through this county is spending money. That's money that can go towards education. So I'm asking us, please, everybody in this room, everybody that's listening, talk to 4 or 5 of your friends and convince them that this is important. It's important for the children of our county. We have to increase the funding. I mean, every time you go to the store, things are more expensive. We haven't had a property increase in years. So how do we fund the police? How do we pave the roads? How do we build new schools when we haven't raised our property taxes in years? Ask yourselves that. If you hadn't had a raise for 10 years and the price of gas is $5 a gallon, how are you going to put gas in your car to go to work? You have to go out and find more money. So asking you, please, I'm begging you, talk to your friends. Let's talk about 25 cents per $100. But it sounds like a little bit of money, but it ends up being a great deal of money. And it all goes towards helping the county solve our budget deficits. Thank you.
Next question, we'll start with you, Mr. Cesarini.
Thank you.
This is kind of a continuing point on looking to the future. Talk about the importance of strategic planning for our county government and for you as a county commissioner in making decisions about the county's future.
When I started working at Magato 40 years ago, we did strategic plans every year, and then we set goals, and then we measured them. I applaud Melissa. First thing we did when she took office was we came up with a strategic plan. The problem is Melissa's not my boss. The taxpayers are my boss. Melissa is not the boss of the commission. She chairs the meeting, but she's not the boss. Those 21 commissioners are her boss. They have the authority to vote. She only breaks a tie. It would be like saying that the Vice President of the United States is responsible for the Senate. Maybe, not really. She can break a tie once in a while. I can't believe that we've had one tie that Melissa's had to break. She came up with a strategic plan, and immediately people went in 21 different directions. I think it's a good idea to have a plan. I think it's a good idea to try to get everybody on the same page. But I just listed, these are all things that we have on our agenda. Teachers' pay, lump, $90 million, courthouse renovations. How are you going to get people together to make well, you have to build a coalition, and she's done a wonderful job of that. But building a coalition is really hard when you have 21 different people with 21 different life experiences and 21 different priorities. So to have a strategic plan is a great idea if you're in a company, and I could say, you do this, you do this, you do this. And I'm going to check on you in a month and see if you're finished. Melissa doesn't have that. So the burden's on us as commissioners. We have to say, now, I believe there was a strategic plan in the last commission. I don't think it ever got adopted. I don't think they even did one thing on it. We have a strategic plan, and we're trying to work towards it. We just had a meeting not too long ago, how we're going to spend the art money. It's important. We have to get together and decide what to do with this money. It's important. But again, she can't tell us what to do. She can't tell us what to think. It's up to us as commissioners. Thank you.
I've had a lot of experience in strategic planning, again, through the nonprofit. And yes, you do have to set goals, and they do have to be realistic, but it's about the people that you're surrounding yourself with to make those goals a reality. They have to be committed. I believe going out into the community and talking to the voters and the people that put you in the office, I would like to be that person who has my door open so that people can come and talk to me about their concerns so that we know what the public actually wants. I don't see a whole lot of that going on in the community. I don't see a lot of reaching out across lines and talking to people and sitting down and actually making these decisions. If I were a commissioner, that would be one of my primary goals is to get out and meet the people and work with the other commissioners and make sure that their voices are heard and that we know what the priorities are. And sometimes priorities shift. Sometimes you have to make a turn on the road and do something different. But I believe it's the people who you surround yourself with and the team that you put together to make that go forward. And I also believe in looking out more than a couple of years. I think you need a 10-year plan. I think you need to look out further. Our town is growing whether we want it to or not. Giles County is growing whether we want it to or not. We have got to be on top of this and ahead of it instead of constantly chasing the ball. And I believe that Melissa has done an outstanding job, especially with COVID. We all know the struggles of that. Every single person in here has experienced the struggles. But when you start off with a plan and you get hamstringed, you know, that makes it kind of rough to get started. But she still surrounded herself with people and kept moving forward. Whoever ends up in these positions, they're going to have to work together and make sure that they have that vision, they have that goal, they have that drive, and they keep moving forward for the betterment of our community. Thank you.
I think we got time. This is a pretty good conversation, so we got time for one more question. I think we'll start with Tammy on it.
Okay. How do you think the county commission can control the potential negative impacts of growth and create a positive environment for development? How do you see the commission's role in facilitating that?
Just as I spoke, I feel like we need to stay ahead of it. We don't need to get behind it. We need to know that we're growing. We need to understand that the industry is important. Economic growth is important. Quality of life is important. You're not going to get people in here if you don't have a quality of life. They're going to live in other counties and they might come in here to work, but you want them living here. You want them paying taxes here. So we have those funds to be able to pay for the teachers and pay for the schools and pay for the things that we want to get done and need to get done to protect and to serve our community. We can't just let it roll over the top of us. We have to keep moving forward to get that focus and make certain that we're caring for the community, everyone in the community, the seniors, the children's. There's an untapped tourism in this community that's just unbelievable. There's so many things about our area that are charming and people want to come and visit. Look at how many people are moving into this area, which again shows you the growth that's happening. We need to be understanding of what that change is going to be like in our community. But in order for the schools and the industry and the housing, everything has to grow at a rate, and we just need to keep control and keep it steady and again communicate with each other and make sure that we're staying on top of it.
Could you repeat the question, please?
How do you think the county commission can control the potential negative impacts of growth and create a positive environment for development?
This is something dear to my heart. 20 years ago, our fathers, the women in the community got together and we came up with a land use management plan. We were under siege. We were going to have an incinerator put in that would probably have negatively affected this county for generations. I'm sure we wouldn't have Frito-Lay, and I'm sure we wouldn't have UT Southern here if that had come in. We had a land use management plan, and we had a group very vehemently opposed to it. Very vehemently opposed to it for the last 20 years. They took us to court many times. They lost every time. So they couldn't win in court, so they decided they were going to take it over in the Regional Planning Commission. So I think we were told that if we rescinded it, that we would have a new plan, better plan, within a few months. That hasn't happened. I don't think there's any intention of it happening. So if you want to have unlimited growth in any direction that anybody wants to do, keep going the way we're going. Now, if you look at Davidson County, Williamson County, Marshall County, Lincoln County, they all have zoning. Why is that? Because they want to control the way the county is going to grow. We're wide open. So that means we're a target. People that want to bring in any kind of industry can come here. We have no way to stop them. Now, We could say, we want a zoning because we want to stop this industry from coming in. We can't stop anybody from coming in. If they're illegal, they're going to come in. We just have to make the regulations tight enough that they go somewhere else. So to wrap it up, if you want to save this county, and I'm passionate about this, if you want to save this county, I would charge the Regional Planning Commission to do what they said they were going to do and come up with a new land use management plan to protect us from industries that we don't want here. Please.
Thank you, guys. We'll start with Tammy. If there's something that you would like to hit on that we didn't hit on, you'll have about 1.5 minutes to wrap up.
First of all, I want to thank you all for allowing me to participate in this, Scott, and everyone who put it together, the college, the community, all of you out there who are voters. I would just encourage people to get involved out there. If you're not a person who gets involved and understands why people are running for an office, learn about that person. You might agree with me, you might not. You might agree with Mr. Cesarini, you might not. But ask questions of the people that are running. It's invaluable. This is our community. We need to be the ones that are taking it forward into the next level. We all need to be doing that. So please ask the questions of every person running for a commission seat and for a public office. It's just that important to me. I want you to ask me. My door is open, and I appreciate your vote.
I am honored to be here today. I'm honored to be the representative from District 3. I wish we had the other two incumbents here because they would have given me a little bit more to battle. I hate to beat up on somebody that hasn't been in the office. I would ask them the question, how do you stand behind your vote? How do you stand behind your vote? Ask them the question. When you see them out now, how do you stand behind your vote? Ask them that. I'll be glad to answer. I'm in the phone book, Mike Cesarini. Call me. If you don't agree with me, let me know. But I've had more people call me and say, I agree with you. Keep it up. Keep it up. So if you want me to be your representative for the next 4 years, please vote for me. Thank you. Thank you.
Now it's the big break, guys. Y'all can, we're going to take about 10 minutes from right now.
That was fun.
We'll come back, we'll gather back here in about 10 minutes and get started with the District 4 candidates.
Students and faculties of Richland and Giles County High Schools and all Giles County schools. When the time comes to sell your property or buy that dream spot, make sure you seek out one of the real estate professionals at First Realty Group. You can see their listings at www.frg1.com. Call them at 363-2644 or visit them on the east side of the Pulaski Square. Just look for that big rocking chair and find out why First Realty Group is first for a reason.
M&M Staffing LLC is your local connection when you're looking for your next job or your company is looking to fill a position. M&M Staffing is owned and operated by Melissa Bottoms Harper and John Harper. They staff various positions on multiple shifts and provide flexible services to assist their clients. Mercedes Houston, Cree Holt, and John Harper are all from Giles County and are trained to match their employees with the positions that best fit their skill sets. Applications are available at 450 Bennett Drive in Pulaski, on their Facebook page, and online at mnmstaffing.net.
Purchasing property is one of the biggest financial decisions you will ever make. So let the trusted professionals at Haney Realty and Property Management help you make those important decisions. Haney Realty and Property Management is your best friend in the real estate business. And like a best friend, Haney Realty and Property Management will be with you along the way, making sure you understand the process and getting property that you want at a fair price. So call your best friend in the real estate biz at 931-347-9150 or stop by the Haney Realty and Property Management office at 109 South First Street in Pulaski.
Candidates, make sure the voters know who you are, what you're running for, and why they should vote for you. With a wide range of campaign marketing materials from Holly's Printing, signs, banners, cards, stickers, promotional items, and targeted mailings are all proven ways to reach voters with your platform. And Holly's Printing provides all of these services and more. Choose the materials that best fit your needs, choose the design that matches your message, and choose the size that gets your message the most attention. Holly's Printing is your campaign materials headquarters. Call 363-3161 or visit them online at hollysprinting.com.
Hi, this is Jen Williams with Giles County Fire and Rescue. Responding to 350 incidents per year from 7 locations throughout our county, Giles County Fire and Rescue exists to save lives and protect property. Giles County's needs are best served by dedicated local volunteers, someone like you. Giles County Fire and Rescue offers the highest level of skills and training, and we are committed to the safety of our community and our responders. There are multiple ways to serve, and regardless of where you are in the county, there's a Giles County Fire and Rescue station near you. If you've considered becoming a Giles County Fire and Rescue volunteer or would like to donate, visit our website at gilescountyfirerescue.org.
Over the past year, property values across the country have risen more than 10%. Giles County is growing, and you need an established and trusted real estate partner to make sure you get the best price possible for your property. First Realty Group is that partner, celebrating their 26th year here in 2022 and looking forward to helping you make the big decisions that will affect you and your family for years to come. Visit frg1.com. Let them show you why First Realty Group is first for a reason.
M&M Staffing LLC is your local connection when you're looking for your next job or your company is looking to fill a position. M&M Staffing is owned and operated by Melissa Bottoms Harper and John Harper. They staff various positions on multiple shifts and provide flexible services to assist their clients. Mercedes Houston, Cree Holt, and John Harper are all from Giles County and are trained to match their employees with the positions that best fit their skill sets. Applications are available at 450 Bennett Drive in Pulaski, on their Facebook page, and online at mnmstaffing.net.
There's never been a better time to sell your property than right now. So let your best friend in real estate help you get the best deal when selling your property. Haney Realty and Property Management will help you evaluate your property and the market to help you find the best buyer and the best price. Throughout the process, your best friend in real estate will be there with you to help you make the best decision for you and your family. So call Haney Realty and Property Management at 931-347-9150 or visit their office at 109 South First Street, just off the Pulaski Square.
First Realty Group is a proud supporter of the students and faculties at Richland and Giles County High Schools and all Giles County schools. When the time comes to sell your property or buy that dream spot, make sure you seek out one of the real estate professionals at First Realty Group. You can see their listings at www.frg1.com. Call them at 363-2644 or visit them on the east side of the Pulaski Square. Just look for that big rocking chair and find out why First Realty Group is first for a reason.
Are you ready for your next challenge? I'm Ryan Cox with Giles County Fire Rescue. 7 stations in Giles County have fired up the call for volunteers to join forces for fire protection and emergency rescue response. No matter where you are in Giles County, there's a place to serve near you. Giles County Fire Rescue is always looking for bright and enthusiastic people to volunteer. Our members come from all walks of life. Serve and protect your family, your friends, your neighbors by volunteering with Giles County Fire Rescue. To volunteer or donate, visit our website at gilescountyfirerescue.org.
M&M Staffing LLC is your local connection when you're looking for your next job or your company is looking to fill a position. M&M Staffing is owned and operated by Melissa Bottoms Harper and John Harper. They staff various positions on multiple shifts and provide flexible services to assist their clients. Mercedes Houston, Cree Holt, and John Harper are all from Giles County and are trained to match their employees with the positions that best fit their skill sets. Applications are available at 450 Bennett Drive in Pulaski, on their Facebook page, and online at mnmstaffing.net.
Purchasing property is one of the biggest financial decisions you will ever make. So let the trusted professionals at Haney Realty and Property Management help you make those important decisions. Haney Realty and Property Management is your best friend in the real estate business. And like a best friend, Haney Realty and Property Management will be with you along the way, making sure you understand the process and getting property that you want at a fair price. So call your best friend in the real estate biz at 931-347-9150 or stop by the Haney Realty and Property Management office at 109 South First Street in Pulaski.
This is David Bushman. I'm the board chair of the advisory board for the Giles County Fire and Rescue. We have an organization of dedicated over 40 volunteers that are on the front lines every day fighting fires, responding to emergency rescue situations in Giles County. We have a very dedicated family of firefighters. We're looking for more volunteers. Giles County could use as many volunteers as possible. We also could use financial support. As you know, it takes a lot of money to run 7 fire stations across the county. You can go on GilesCountyFireandRescue.org. If you'd like to be a firefighter, we'd love to have you come help make a difference in your community. Join our family. Again, I thank you from the bottom of my heart as a Giles County citizen.
Candidates, make sure the voters know who you are, what you're running for, and why they should vote for you. With a wide range of campaign marketing materials from Holly's Printing, signs, banners, cards, stickers, promotional items, and targeted mailings are all proven ways to reach voters with your platform. And Holly's Printing provides all of these services and more. Choose the materials that best fit your needs, choose the design that matches your message, and choose the size that gets your message the most attention. Holly's Printing is your campaign materials headquarters. Call 363-3161 or visit them online at hollysprinting.com.
Over the past year, property values across the country have risen more than 10%. Giles County is growing, and you need an established and trusted real estate partner to make sure you get the best price possible for your property. First Realty Group is that partner, celebrating their 26th year here in 2022 and looking forward to helping you make the big decisions that will affect you and your family for years to come. Visit frg1.com. Let them show you why First Realty Group is first for a reason.
M&M Staffing LLC is your local connection when you're looking for your next job or your company is looking to fill a position. M&M Staffing is owned and operated by Melissa Bottoms-Harper and John Harper. They staff various positions on multiple shifts and provide flexible services to assist their clients. Mercedes Houston, Cree Holt, and John Harper are all from Giles County and are trained to match their employees with the positions that best fit their skill sets. Applications are available at 450 Bennett Drive in Pulaski, on their Facebook page, and online at mnmstaffing.net.
There's never been a better time to sell your property than right now. So let your best friend in real estate help you get the best deal when selling your property. Haney Realty and Property Management will help you evaluate your property and the market to help you find the best buyer and the bbest price. Throughout the process, your best friend in real estate will be there with you to help you make the best decision for you and your family. So call Haney Realty and Property Management at 931-347-9150 or visit their office at 109 South First Street, just off the Pulaski Square.
Are you ready for your next challenge? I'm Ryan Cox with Giles County Fire Rescue. 7 stations in Giles County have fired up the call for volunteers to join forces for fire protection and emergency rescue response. No matter where you are in Giles County, there's a place to serve near you. Giles County Fire Rescue is always looking for bright and enthusiastic.
I think everybody's had time.
Our members come from all walks of life. Serve and protect your family, your friends.
I'm not going to hit y'all over
by volunteering with Giles County Fire Rescue. To volunteer or donate, visit our website.
Just give everybody a chance to move on in here. Get seated. Get those doors closed if y'all don't mind, please.
Yeah, open a window.
We can go outside if y'all want to do it outside. There's got to be somewhere between here and outside, right? Right. All right, our next group of candidates are the District 4 County Commission candidates. We have 4 of those guys here tonight. Dwayne Jones, Roger Reedy, Matthew Hopkins, and Chris McCartney. If you guys, when you introduce yourselves, please make sure you state your name, because I understand that although we tried to make those cards real big where you can read them, that the people online are having a hard time seeing the names. So just make sure you give them your name whenever you introduce yourself. Mr. Jones, if you'll give me a second to get in my seat, we'll get started. You there, yeah.
My name is Dwayne Jones. I'm running for re-election from District 4. I am a retired law enforcement officer for 34 years. When I moved here, I became a reserve sheriff's deputy. I have served over 50 years in law enforcement in my career. I am also a member of the Fraternal Order of Police here in Giles County, where I am the treasurer. In the reserves that we belong to, I'm also the treasurer of that group. I'm on the board of directors of the Giles County Senior Citizen Center, and I am the vice chairman of the Economic and Development Commission here in Giles County. I am a fiscal conservative. I believe and support the Constitution of the United States. Thank you.
I'm Roger Reedy, and I've been a lifelong resident of Giles County, except for the 4 years I went to school and got a degree in chemical engineering. Now, I got my degree from Tennessee Tech, but I got my education from my mom and daddy on a middle 30s style cotton and hand milking farm. But the best education I got was with my daddy out behind the woodshed. Now, I'm telling you that is a common sense type education that has served me well. And I have retired out of the chemical and the power business. I was operations manager for a 750 megawatt power plant. And that entire time that I worked, I was a moonshine farmer. I come home, I get home, I get my flashlight, and I go farm and check cows every night. Raised 2 sons to learn to do that. Been a commissioner for 20 years. You say you're too old, you need to get out of that. You can't teach old dogs new tricks. But old dogs can teach new dogs old tricks. So we need to be a part of the county commission. So that's who I am. I am for education, I am for Giles County, and I am for the growth of this county.
My name is Matthew Hopkins, and my background is that I am a small business owner, and I've been running an IT business, IT consulting business for 13 years. So telling you that to let you know that I understand how to handle a budget, how to keep it on track, and how to stay in business. Again, most businesses fail in the first year. I'm 13 years in. Kind of gives you a clue. I at least know something about how to handle a budget and how to keep money working, which is something I think that this county really needs. I'm also a deacon at Friendship Baptist Church in Culleoka, and I tell you that so that you have some idea of what my values are. And I hope that that gives you some clue about that. Now, why am I running for this office? Basically because I'm kind of fed up with government, and I hope and I believe from the people I've talked to that a lot of you feel the same way. Now, it doesn't mean everything's bad, and I know we've got 2 people up here that have been serving for quite some time. I'm not saying they've done a terrible job. I don't want anybody to take that impression. I just believe that we can do better. And there are lots of ways we can do that. I'm sure we'll get to answer some questions as we go along about that. Thank you for your time.
Hi, my name's Chris Mccartney. I work as a nurse anesthetist at the local hospital here in town. Moved my family here in 2016. Loved every minute of it. Really enjoy the county. Love living here. Great people in the county. My wife is also an anesthetist part-time, so we might see some of y'all. We have seen some of y'all at the hospital, I'm sure. Happy to take care of you all hours of the night. Little sleepy-eyed sometimes. But besides that, moved to Giles County. My family, my parents moved out here, and we brought my wife's parents too. So we bought the farm literally, and it's time to get more involved, and that's why I'm here.
Very good, gentlemen. We have 2 incumbents tonight, 2 new gentlemen here, and I'm going to start with a very subjective, non-controversial question before we get into the hard stuff. Where would you most like to see progress in Giles County in the next 4 years, and what will it take to make that happen? And Mr. Jones, we'll start with you.
The progress I would like to see is that we increase our infrastructure here in Giles County. If we have a better outlook, or not an outlook, but a better infrastructure with our schools, our roads, our hospitals, police, fire department. This is going to attract business to this community, because when a business comes here, or when you move here, and like Chris says, and Matthew, and myself have come here from other places, you look for the education, you look for better fire, you look for those things, that infrastructure that make this a great place. And if it's there, then you're going to move your family here. And industry is going to come here, because that's the main thing. They want a place where their employees can feel it's a good place to live. And Giles County is a good place to live. Thank you. Would you repeat that?
I will. Where would you most like to see progress for Giles County in the next 4 years, and what will it take to make it happen?
Okay, I'd like to see more progress in education. The building block for a good, sound economy is in education. If you don't have good education, then you have nothing. If you read some of the stories of the old-time educators, you see how they've struggled to make that happen. Also, I would like to see industry come into town. I would like to see some industry that revolves around agriculture. Agriculture is our number one source of income in related agricultural industries. And I would like to see some industry come in to help support that, so that we can have a beautiful agricultural-based county continue. I would like to see more development and more regulations around subdivisions, because right now the building programs in the county are one house for one hilltop, and buy the land around it. And it's not long before you run out of hilltops. So we need good subdivisions that has good quality housing that people can live in. And that's why we can then have people that will live here, work here, rather than live somewhere else and come here to stay. So I think that should be some of our top priorities. Then I think another thing is that we need to look for extra sources of income. You know, oftentimes it's said that if you cannot drink yourself sober, borrow yourself out of debt, and also you can't just save yourself into prosperity, because you'll have, if you ever read Silas Marner, you see that you don't have anything for very long. You've got to develop things that will bring extra income into this county, other than just bleeding the taxpayer.
Okay, so I would like to see, like everyone else, I'd like to see growth. I mean, now, don't get me wrong, I don't want to turn this county into something other than what it is. I love the fact that this is a very rural place. And again, one of our, as already mentioned, one of our biggest industries is agriculture, and I don't want to really see that change. However, I do believe that we have good opportunity to bring in good-paying businesses. Now, we've got a county south of us and a county north of us that have huge growth. That growth is going to spread to us whether we want it or not. So what we've got to do is prepare for it. And that does mean dealing with infrastructure, as already mentioned, but it also means getting better businesses in here. I'm not talking about small stuff. We've got to have some larger businesses in here. You have to. If you want to keep good wages, it's necessary. It will also help you with the taxes. If you get some good industry in here, you're taking some of that tax burden off of the people, off of us, and getting it onto the businesses. It's not going to solve everything, but it's a step in the right direction, and it's somewhere that we can increase our funds without trying to drain the taxpayers. And I think that will give us a lot of benefits just by doing that. I mean, better jobs, we'll bring in better, hopefully stronger infrastructure as we can afford to do that as well, which is going to be necessary for those companies. As I've already mentioned, I'm in a technology field. It's IT consulting. So I understand that that's something that we need as far as having that good infrastructure, and that also means having good internet. And I know that concerns several people here because that's something a lot of us don't have. I only get cell service at my house for internet. That's it. So obviously, next thing is to focus on education. Why? Well, you can't focus on that until you've got more income coming in, and that's why I'm saying I'd like to focus on the business growth first. Thank you for your time.
I believe the question is about progress, correct? So one of the main areas everybody talks, it was last night, it's tonight, it's the schools, it's education for our children. My wife and I almost decided not to live here. I took the job, I was going to take the job and live in a county more north because of what we thought was issues here with the school system. So that's huge. It's forefront for me. That's a necessity. That's a need. We have needs and we have wants. I think in the past, we've gotten wants and needs confused, and that's why we are partly in the situation that the county's in. I would, as far as progress, you go to other towns our size and don't pay any more taxes than what we do here in our town. They have parks. They have really nice parks, places that families can go and enjoy together. They have, I have kids. I have 3 children. Some of them play baseball. They have really nice city baseball fields. We don't have one. Taxpayers don't pay for anything here. Not necessarily, that's a want, okay? That's not a need. But the county has not really done much for the children here in the past that I can see. That we have not put an emphasis on the children, starting with the schools, but there's after-school programs. There's other things the county should be in place, and we've gotten wants and needs very mixed up. Allowing the growth of the county is paramount to that. The taxpayers have enough burden on you with what you pay now. And if I'm calculating my taxes correctly based on what I'm reading, the proposed, it looks like it's gonna go up based on my new appraisal, which if you're like mine, it was dramatic. So the county is going to bring in more money. We need to allow businesses to come in and support them to allow that growth. Let them handle some of that burden of funding the issues in the county. There's more, but
do anybody, if you want to add some more, we'll give everybody a chance to add some more to that. Part of growth, and maybe this touched on a previous question, is we've got to have more funding. We've got to look at you want to have safe, right? You want our police departments need to have enough personnel. We've got to have funding for the police departments to have enough personnel to provide a safe environment. Having 1 or 2 deputies, in my opinion, maybe some evenings that have to cover the entire county is not really acceptable. This is a very large county. How can they possibly do that when there's an issue? It is shocking to me. Having 1 EMS on call, or one EMS available, ambulance available for the county to transport patients and pick up patients and do everything they need to do is unacceptable. So there's a lot of area for progress. Would anybody else like to add any more? Just want to give everybody a chance to say all they wanted to. Okay.
I would like to follow up that question, and I don't mean to preempt Brandon, but with all that was said, it's known through economic development that 40 to 50% of our workforce in Giles County are non-residents. They're making their dollars here and paying their taxes elsewhere. What are some ways that we can increase our tax base by increasing livability?
Let's start from Mr. Jones.
Affordable housing is one. There is housing for everybody here, and that is something that lacks here. When I talked about companies coming here, they look at where they're going to put their HR people. They're going to look for where they're going to put their managers. They're going to look where they're going to put their upper echelon people. And there is no housing developments here. If we increase that, it's going to increase businesses coming here. Again, it's into the infrastructure again of what the prettiness, I guess you would call it, that we want to portray for this county. We want them to drive by a high school or an elementary school or a middle school and see a nice building, because that's the impression that they get. If you care for your buildings and you care for your schools, you're going to care for your children. And so that's something that needs to be addressed off the bat.
Mr. Ray.
I agree with Mr. Jones that we do need more affordable housing. We need better housing. We need that housing in, a lot of that housing in subdivisions. We probably have the most lax subdivision regulations of any county that surround us, the absolute most lax. And so somehow we need to assure people that come in here that they've got good housing, good drainage, good roads, and that's what we try to do, predominantly roads and the subdivision regulations that we have. We do need good aesthetic appeal to our schools, and inside and out. But we need, I don't know if you're going to get into the teachers in a minute, but we need good teachers. We need excellent teachers, and we have them. And maybe the reason we have them, we have such excellent teachers, is because we pay so low that only the very sincere, dedicated people that want to stay here, that love teaching and love students, are here. And the ones that are balancing it between loving the students and loving the job and wanting the money are gone. So we've got the people that want to teach kids, and that's what is a big calling card. Got to quit.
So I believe there are a lot of ways to draw people in here and keep them here. Admittedly, housing is part of it, especially with the way it goes right now, because housing is so expensive. And admittedly, so much of our stuff is farmland. So when you go out, you're not always looking at being able to get a subdivision home. You're ending up with, okay, I'm getting 5, 10, 15, 20, 100 acres, whatever it is, my point. So when you're looking around, there's not a lot of subdivision style housing in the county, and that is something that's relevant. But as has already been mentioned, we also need to deal with having some amenities. It's not all about low-cost housing. It's not all about one individual thing. You have to have a draw, something that people want to go there for. You've mentioned other counties around here and said, oh, well, they've got all the, this is free, that's free, ball fields or whatever. We don't have any of that. Now, I know that's not where you spend money and you say, oh, great, look, we're spending money on a ball field, or we're spending money on a park. What's the income draw? Where's our tax draw for that? Well, it's by getting people to live here, because they want to live here, because they see, hey, this is really a nice place. There are lots of things we could go do if we lived here. That's something that we're not focused on right now, and I understand a lot of that's funding. It's something we're going to have to work on.
That it definitely is an issue, and it rings home at the hospital. There's I would say most providers that work at the hospital locally don't live here. And the reason for that are for the issues that we've discussed. We could hardly find a place to rent here. I just wanted a decent home to rent. And being that I take call at the hospital, it has to be, I have to be able to get there within 30 minutes. And I barely got through. I was going to actually rent in Lawrenceburg, and something fell through on that, and we found something at the very last minute. But that's a big issue. People have to have, companies are going to come in, they've got to have a place to house people to rent, nice places. I'm not going to dwell on that anymore. Redoing, and this isn't something that the taxpayers need to pay be funding necessarily with the, but redoing the square, go down to Columbia and you see it's turning into a really nice area. And I've only seen it since 2016, but just the businesses that are coming in there around the square because of the growth, it's a really nice area, turning into a really nice area to be. So I think just as the county grows, things like allowing, encouraging businesses to get and come in around the square there, having that central place is very attractive when you drive into a town for the first time. And obviously allowing good jobs that attract people to come. That's why I'm here, And one more thing, I'm sorry. Before, internet. Everything runs on the internet these days. I have barely got internet some days at my house, north of town on Milky Way. Everybody needs to get on the internet. Cell service is very shoddy. I can't carry on a conversation from my work to where I live on Milky Way without it dropping about 4 times. So we've got to do something with the internet services for the county.
Our next question, and we'll start with Mr. Reedy. The sentiment tonight has been progress. Progress costs money. Infrastructure costs money. Services cost money. And inflation is hitting everyone in this room just like it is towns and counties around this whole country. It's costing us more to run services for the same amount of dollars. When it comes to county government, the only way to increase the funds available is to increase the taxes or increase the tax base. How do you see in 5 to 10 years in the future in Giles County, how do we keep funding our current services and have progress at the same time?
Well, I think that we will grow. We will grow if we manage it right. We will grow in population. Now, all the amenities that we've talked about here that they have in other counties, they cannot exist without the customer base. You've got to have a customer base if you're going to have a lot more shops, a lot more restaurants, a lot more recreational activities. Without the customer base, they can't exist. They'll go out of business shortly. So if we can get, the good housing, affordable housing, then that will help. Another thing, good schools. And one of the things I want to expound on is the fact that this tax increase that we're voting for the county, not for the city. You're already paying it in the city, 25 cents on $100 out in the county. Now, how does that make up very much money? Well, a few years ago when we remodeled the Sam Davis Park, we had a referendum inside the city, and the county agreed to let all the money from that sales tax increase go into the repairs of Sam Davis Park. But when the park was paid for, the money continued to come into the city. The city has been extremely nice about this. This is a legal thing, and they keep the money, but they have been giving part of that money, and they don't know how much it's bringing in to the schools. So the city leaders are in agreement with the fact that we can get up this sales tax increase and get all the money that is coming in from the tax increase that was voted in, and all goes to the schools. Now, that you say, well, that's a tax increase, I'm not going to vote for it. We'll vote for a deferred tax increase, because if we don't get more money in, we're going to have to increase taxes sooner or later.
Okay, so again, bringing in new business has got to be a key. And that means we need to go out and court those businesses. That's got to happen. That's the only way we're going to be able to increase the tax base without, and get more money in without going back to the citizens. So we have to go for that growth. And some of that's going to mean spending some money. How are we going to do that? Well, we're going to have to look into some grants and some other options that are out there. federal grants, state grants, because you're going to have to go in and get the infrastructure, which right now we don't have the infrastructure in a lot of places. And I know that that's something that the commissioners have been working on, but it's not done. We need more work. We've got to get that accomplished. And I can't tell you all the options with grants that are out there, but I know they exist because I've done the basic research that anybody else can do when you can actually get on the internet, if you're lucky enough to get it around here, and find out that there are plenty of funding sources. Now, does that mean we can get all of them? Does that mean it's going to happen overnight? No, it takes time for all of that. But that's what we're going to have to focus on. That's what we're going to have to work with. In the meantime, is there going to be something else? Is there going to have to be some kind of an increase in order to cover our expenses? Yeah, that's possible. Do I want it? No, good grief, I don't want a tax increase. Besides, we all know once a new tax goes in, does it ever go away? No. So I don't want to go that route. I want to find other solutions first if we can. But until I can dive into the budget in more detail, there's not a whole lot I can tell you other than what my intentions are and what I want to try to do. The rest is going to have to be doing more research. Thank you.
So, could you repeat the question just for fresh memory?
Yes, with progress costing money and inflation affecting everyone, including government, the only way you can increase your funding is through increase of taxes or increasing your tax base. So how would you address the issue of getting more funding?
Sure. Thank you. So, yeah, we are in between two of the fastest growing counties around. Murray County is, I believe, the fastest growing county in Tennessee, and we're sandwiched by the county here in Alabama that I believe is the fastest growing county in Alabama. So we are growing. Our tax base is growing, number one. So if we did nothing different and we collected no new taxes anywhere, we will have more income this coming year than we did last year and next year and so on and so on and so on. We will continue to grow. People want to move to Tennessee. They want to move to places like Giles County. So we will collect more money if we did nothing different. However, saying that, in the immediate need future right now, as I understand it, the sales tax that will be up for a vote again this year, it is 25 cents for every $100 that you spend in the county. Everybody already pays that exact same sales tax. We already pay it today if you shop anywhere in the city. Now, my understanding is the city has not been contributing what was told they should contribute to the schools system, that 50% of that money should be going to the school system. And from my understanding, it's unclear if that's actually happening or not. However, if the county passes it, that actually would have to happen. So you're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars of revenue that it would increase just by the amount of people that travel through the county, stopping at a gas station, stopping at a restaurant, you name it, spending money out in the county that isn't collected right now. Am I a big fan of taxes? No. Do I want to pay more taxes? No. But I think that is one option, and the people decide. The commissioners don't decide that. That's up for every voter out there. When you go to the polls, you can decide. But just to be clear, 50% of that increased tax is mandatory to go to the school system, from my understanding. So you can decide when you vote.
I would like to add something to that real quick. When it was passed by the city, the 50% was not required to go to schools. The city has, since they paid for the park, put $1 million over the last 5 years to the school system. If it is passed countywide, it automatically 50% goes to schools.
Okay.
Just to clarify, yeah.
That's where I was going to come in on that. Again, when we're talking about not taxes, but raising everything around here, it's the infrastructure. If we make this place the place that you want to come, industry is going to be here. Schools are going to be here. So we have to start kind of like from the inside to work out to get business and people to come here. just like Scott said, the local sales option tax, we're talking 25 cents on a dollar. I like to look at it, $100. I like to look at it better as $1 on 400. Okay, we're talking about $1 on 400. And that's not a lot of money, and it not only does it help the school system, it helps the cities where that tax is collected. Ardmore, Linville, Minor Hill, Elkton will benefit that, which will increase their tax base, which will increase their livability for people wanting to come to those towns, which increases, the county tax dollar. So it's a win-win situation, and I know that the commissioners can't raise that, but we can push it. We can get out there and talk about it and show the people that we need this for education. We need this for our existing towns. We need this for our county to grow. Thank you.
One other just mention, and correct me if I'm wrong, anybody, but my understanding is on that particular tax, that would put the county at the state maximum, and the city's already here. So it's not like 25 cents per 100 this year, and then next year we can vote more, yada, yada, yada. It's like a one-time, it's at the state maximum, it's done.
That's correct. It would take the state to raise that before it could be raised any higher. Okay.
What am I commenting on here? I done lost out listening to these guys.
Sorry. We're ready for another question. They kind of circle back.
Okay. Well, I have something I'd like to talk about too. We talk about, since we all talking, we're talking about internet service and things like that, and everybody's having trouble with internet service. Well, you can relax because the cavalry is coming. The cavalry's coming. Ms. Green has gotten ARP money. She's got a lot of money for the county, and there is plan for a lot of internet broadband coming into the county. So the cavalry's coming. So just hunker down.
Out of fairness, I'd like to give everybody else that 30 seconds as well, if anybody wants to add anything on that, on the internet.
Yeah, so the internet, most of that's being provided, from my understanding, from various grants, and most of those are going directly to the providers to push that out. And while that's great, depending on what area you're in, there's some areas that are covered really well. There are some areas that are not going to be covered so well because those grants go to different areas, again, different companies. Personally, I'm in the northern part of the county, northeast, and let me tell you, I've talked to, that's United up there, and yeah, they don't have any intentions of doing any more. They stopped at the Marshall County line. They're not coming any further unless they get another grant. So yeah, there's some improvement, there's some progress, but it all depends on where you live. And just want everybody to be aware of that.
Anybody else? Okay. Next question.
Okay. We've talked a lot about the need for residential development and expansion through subdivisions into our county, with that being a need and being imperative from a county commission standpoint. Please talk about how our county government can protect Giles County from potential nuisance or dangerous property usage while balancing the rights of these property owners. And Matthew will begin with you.
There are several ways to do that. The first one that most people like to throw out is, okay, we're going to zone it. We're going to put zoning in. That's one option. I'd rather not have to do it that way, but I mean, I do agree that we do need to make sure that everybody still has full land rights. I don't want to tell anybody what to do with their property. There are some businesses I'd like to tell what they cannot do with their property. There are some ways to do that as far as what the land use type is. Again, not putting businesses into rural areas. Again, it's how the land management use is, which I know the commission got rid of the previous land management rules, and I understand why they did. There were a whole lot of problems with those. Do we need to implement something else that will handle some of that? We probably do. I don't want it to be restrictive on anyone's personal property, but as you said, I do want to deal with, as the questions asked, I do want to deal with stopping nuisance, or preventing, not stopping, preventing nuisance businesses. No one wants a junkyard showing up next to the door. No one wants a dump next to them. But those are things that I believe we can make some rules for that.
So I think, most people would agree, you don't want a landfill being put next to you and those kind of things. I think there are some state laws that address some of that as far as the growth and the subdivisions. People that I've talked to since I've been out a little bit in the county doing campaigning, they do not want zoning laws. They don't want a stack of papers this tall telling them what they can and can't do with their own property. They don't want it. From what I've talked to, now, if you feel differently, please come talk to me. Let me know. But I have not found that to be very popular. I'm here to represent what the people want in the county. I'm not here to push my own views. That's just how I feel about it. Now, can other options be done other than a stack, a big booklet we're going to inherit from somewhere else with zoning laws and rules and permits and things that you have to apply for and follow? Yes. The city of Houston doesn't have any zoning laws. Somehow they grew to be a big city with, they managed and some people good, bad, in between. There are other options. One option, can individual county-wide ordinances be made? Yes, they can. Common sense ordinances. I just don't think that, from what I can tell, people don't want a big stack of rules telling them what they can and can't do with the property that they purchased. So I think that there can be some common sense ordinances or rules, keeping it very simple. I think we've got enough government, we've got enough rules being shoved down our throats every day from you name it where. I just don't think anybody's looking for that. There it is.
I think there has to be an effort between the citizens and the commission to get together and make some rules. Not a stack of rules, but some rules. I think the public needs to have more input in what they want because we work for them. So they need to have more input in what they would like to see. I would like to see a group get together that can sit down and talk about implementing some basic, sensible rules. There's rules every day on our property that we have that we don't even think about. You take the center line of the highway. There's 37 and a half feet from the center line of the highway to your property that belongs to you, but it's the state right away. If you put your fence up and they want to do something on it, they can tear it down and not have to worry about it. So there are rules that we as landowners face that we need to not expand on, but to make it better for what we want. We don't want, and I think the example the other day was the landing strip next door, okay? Or I want private property I own this piece of property, I want to start my own industry. And there's no rules and regulations. So we have to have some basic rules to live by, not hard, fast rules to say we can't use our property or my neighbor's grass is too high. Those are the kind of things that we need. Thank you.
We do need some protection. We're a wide open county right now. In agriculture, we're having difficulty trying to figure out what do you do with dead animal removal. Dead animals, they go to a landfill right now. The University of Tennessee has developed a composting system that you can compost dead animals. But where in the world in Giles County can you put a dead animal composting system? And right now, anywhere you want to. If you own a piece of land outside the city limits, you can put it there. So there's no regulation for things like that. We do have the Jackson law that works toward landfills, but somehow we can make a balance. It's nice to be able to build you a house on your land for your child or your grandchild or your in-laws, and that we need to try to keep that kind of freedom here. But we need to try to have some regulations that can help regulate where things go for industries that have the potential for damaging the scenic beauty of this country, or for damaging the health of the people, or for preventing future development some other place. So we need to have something of that nature. And I've been on the Regional Planning Commission. We had a land use management plan trying to do that, and that was initiated back when a hazardous material incinerator was coming into the county back in the 90s, and then a rock quarry during the 64 expansion. So that's what promoted that. But now we don't have that, so we can either live wide open or we can develop some type of protection against a nuisance industry.
Gentlemen, it's been a great conversation, and I'd love to go on, but we do have another group coming up. So I'd like to start on the right this time with Mr. Mccartney. I'll try to give each one of y'all a minute and a half, if you don't mind, to just anything that we didn't touch on that you would like to touch on, and whatever else you'd like the folks to know.
I appreciate the opportunity to be here. Thank you for setting this up. Thank you to everybody that came out. It's a beautiful county we have. I think we all have similar goals, and that's keeping the county beautiful and providing a good place to live for people with good jobs. And, we go about it different ways sometimes, but I think it's a critical time in the county with the growth happening. We can either be proactive and support and allow some growth in developed ways, or I think that we could head down a road that it will be pretty hard to undo. So it's also an important time if you just look at the country as a whole. It's time for the average citizen to step up, get more involved, and that's why you guys are here tonight, I'm sure. But we need more of that. We need more people who, regular people, I'd say, who have jobs and pay taxes to get more involved, and that's why I'm here.
I guess after listening to all this tonight and listening to the questions that are posed, it kind of gives you some idea from the last group to this group as far as what the focus is on for this county. It's a matter of how are we going to handle the growth that's coming, because it's coming one way or another.
That's right.
And we haven't really planned for it very well, and we're going to have to. And we're going to have to deal with it. As we've said, we've got counties on either side of us, north and south of us, that are huge growing counties. And we're going to have to deal with the influx because there's going to be overflow from them. They're going to come here. As Mr. Carly said, it doesn't matter if we do anything differently or not. We're going to have that growth. The key is we need to manage that growth. We need to plan it out. If we want to keep our county beautiful, which it is, but if we don't plan for it, it's going to be all over the place as far as whether or not, or where the growth is, and whether or not it keeps the county beautiful or it trashes it. And I really love this place. I've been here 3 years now. I love it. That's why I'm running. I want to make sure it stays this way. Thank you.
I agree with Mr. Hopkins. This place is going to grow. You can't put a wall around it and stop it from happening, because it's going to happen. And I too think that over the past many years. We've never anticipated this happening, and we're not ready for it. There are a lot of people that are ready for it, and it gets done little pieces at a time, like putting together a jigsaw puzzle. So we've got to have some regulations in place that helps people find a spot to go to, and plenty of housing to do it. And I appreciate the people that have supported me for the last several years as county commissioner, and I'd appreciate your vote now. If you see fit that one of these young men can do a better job, then that's okay too, but I would appreciate your vote.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming out here tonight. The audience here, the audience on TV and on YouTube, and for taking the interest to see your government and the people that represent your government in action. This is what we do. We work for you, and I hope that you see fit to reelect me. You know my voting record. It's public information. Everything I do is public. So again, I want to thank y'all for coming out, and I want to thank that lady right back there for 53 years of standing next to me to make me the person that I am.
Boy, she's got some
She has got some stick. That duct tape works good.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. We appreciate your time. This is going to be another quick break. We got the District 6 commissioners. You guys can make your way up here. We're going to change out the table, and we'll get her done. We need amenity, or we need people.
Oh, it's stuck in one. I agree. Okay, so explain the duties. I don't think we do that, do we?
While we got just a second before we get started, I meant to say this earlier, and I want to remind all the candidates that are here. Another way to get out your message to the people, we have a special section that's an election section we put out every election, at least every 4 years during the big elections. And that's coming up real soon. Kelly here that's been with me, helping me keep the time. She's got information on that. The way we sell that is you get an ad and you get that equal space to share your platform or anything about yourself. So it is a good way to get your message out. That does go in the paper and on the website. If you want to find out more about that, please see Kelly at the end of this evening, or call her down at the newspaper, 363-3544. So as we get everybody settled back in, we did have one addition to this group. Mr. Glover came in, and he will
He will join the group here for the District 6 Commissioners. That's Evan Baddour, Joseph Sutton on the end, and Mr. Glover. And if you guys will give me a chance, we'll start with Mr. Baddour with introductions. Just give me a chance to sit down, please. We'll start the introductions with 1 minute, okay?
Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Evan Baddour. Proud to be from here. Grew up on Sunset Drive here in District 6, and proud to be running in District 6, Bridgeforth Middle School. A lot of important milestones in my life fall in the district I'm running for, and a brief history. Aside from going to UT, Knoxville, and a year teaching English in South America to Spanish-speaking students, and 8 years working for software companies in Brentwood while going through law school the last 4 years, I've always lived here. And truly proud that we can have these conversations. These are difficult questions, and but it's through this discourse that we get anywhere. And just like to say that Mr. Glover here and Mr. Sutton, it's an honor to be able to work through some of these problems with you. And people who know me have told me that I'm generally open-minded. I agree with that. I like to think that I'm a good listener as well. And sure, I talk, as a lawyer in the courtroom often. I really pride myself on being a good listener. So I will commit to you today and moving forward that collaboration is key on this commission. And as Mr. Cesarini pointed out, if we have 21 different views on which way to go, we're not going to go very far. So I will promise you that I will foster a spirit of working with each other, irrespective of our differing worldviews. I don't think that those should get in the way of really the basic functions of government that we're here to perform. And I appreciate your time tonight.
Go ahead, 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Okay, my name is Phil Glover. I'm here from Giles County. I'm born and raised here, educated here, lived here most of my life. There's been a couple years that I was in Marshall County, Tennessee, and about a year I lived in Alabama, and about 9 months I was in Kansas City. I worked with General Motors for the last 35 years. I'm retired. Giles County has gave me a lot through the years, and I'm trying to give something back to my county. Now, I know I cannot change everything in Washington, D.C. I can't change everything in the state of Tennessee. But I can serve here in Giles County and start at the very bottom level, and that's where we got to start. We start with the bottom level, work our way up. Now, there's things here in Giles County that's going to be coming forward to us, things we're going to have to look at in the future, the next 4 years. Education is one of the things we got to look at. Growth. There's a lot of things. Ambulance services, sheriff's department, stuff like that we're going to have to deal with. I've never been a county commissioner before, but I'm a fast learner, and I don't mind challenges. And I'm not afraid to get in there and fight if I have to. And, well, that's about all I can tell you right now. Well, we're going to do the best we can, and I hope I can get your vote so I can go on this journey. Thank y'all.
Mr. Sutton, 2 minutes.
Good evening to everyone. Good to see you here. I wish more were here. Because we're dealing with an election year, we're dealing with the county government, state government, and federal government, and this is not minor league. This is prime time. This year, we're not playing regular season ball. We're in a Super Bowl of elections. Who am I? Retired educated for 32 years, born and raised here. Former chairman of the Pulaski Regional Planning Commission, vice chairman of the Pulaski Housing Authority, treasurer at my church, 26 years as the treasurer of the Greater Richland Creek Missionary Baptist Association. Also At one time, I was the president of the Giles County Education Association. So that's one of the things that's real big with me. The scripture says, my people fail for a lack of knowledge. We got to work on that. We cannot let little Johnny float around here playing baseball 24/7 and can't spell his name. Now that's an exaggeration, but that is an issue. I am also the current president of the local branch NAACP. We had a low membership a few years ago. We're moving up. Everybody in here who is not a member and wishes to be will be glad to have you. Oh, darn. I gotta quit talking. Ladies and gentlemen, be involved. If you're not a registered voter, become one. Vote in August, vote in November. I would appreciate your vote. And one last item, this is not politics. Men, be nice to your wife because Father's Day is coming. Thank you.
All right, we'll get to our first question. We'll start with you, Mr. Baddour.
Yes, sir.
We've heard a lot of talk tonight about progress. We've heard a lot of talk about how progress costs money. We've heard a lot of talk about bringing in businesses to the county. So with that being said, what is your position on offering property tax breaks to companies as an incentive to attract new jobs to Giles County and spending county tax dollars to recruit retail development in Pulaski or in the county or along I-65?
Well, I'm always open to incentives, to anything that provides benefit to our citizens. I do think the question presumes that we need more businesses. My thought is, historically, we're always focused on the next new business. What's that next new business we can bring in here to tout, to be proud of, pat ourselves on the back. We brought in this business in these years, as opposed to focusing on how do we help our existing businesses raise their wages for their employees. How can we? So I think my focus, if elected, would be to focus on our existing businesses. Our unemployment rate, something we can be proud of, it's quite low. If we bring in a new factory that we can brag about, where the people, it causes a problem where there aren't enough workers to fill those positions. They're going to come from Agato and Morelli. So not opposed at all to offering incentives to any business. I also don't think it's the government's role to get too intertwined with businesses, though. I think anything we can do to help businesses be better and to pay their workers better wages, we should be open to. Beyond that, I think it's the government, our county commission, the role of the county commission in large part is to manage the existing budget and to make the existing budget work as best as it can. And my focus, at least, would be focusing on all the little efficiencies that we can create, whether that's through technology, through tough conversations and eliminating non-essential expenditures. We provide essential services as county government. And I don't want, I think we get away from the goal when we try to do too much as local government. Thank you.
Repeat that question, please.
What is your position on offering property tax breaks to companies as an incentive to attract new jobs to Giles County and spending county tax dollars to recruit retail development in Pulaski or along I-65?
Let's see. Well, first of all, if you have to give tax reductions or whatever to bring in industry, as I said earlier, I work for General Motors. Now, I know that Spring Hill gave out tax incentives, tax breaks to General Motors to bring in Spring Hill manufacturing. Now, for how many years, I don't know, but that did bring in Spring Hill manufacturing, and you look how Spring Hill, the community in Columbia, how it grew from that. So if we give a little bit incentive to get these factories, these companies into the county, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Because you're going to have employees bringing in money, they're going to be buying houses, you're going to bring in retail businesses, you're going to bring in shops, and that's where you're going to start bringing in your tax dollars. But we also need to also make sure, well, that's money also can be used for education. We need to look at ways that we can bring in industry in, and I'm not talking about a little donut shop. I'm talking about bringing in some real industry. I'm okay with these small places, but we need to bring in something that's meaningful for the community. And for the housing and stuff like that, well, we do have houses if we stop and think about it. I've got 30 seconds. Well, that's not much. I got a niece that just moved here from Cheverville because she could buy a house here cheaper than she could in her county. And when she got here, then she went out and got her job. And I also heard another guy told me the other day that he had just sold $1 million house in California with 1,200 square feet, moved here, bought 3,000 square feet for $400,000. We have houses. Now, I forgot what the rest of the question was. That's it anyway. We'll get back.
Thank you. The issue is incentives to get business to come here. I'm not really opposed to it, but don't go overboard. We cannot function as a county. We cannot take care of our obligations off of good friendships and love. We need funds. Giles County needs funds now, tomorrow, next week, next month. Industry on the exit is okay. Maybe an incentive there would help out. Maybe there's another incentive you can use besides the reduction in property taxes. Gentlemen, what was the second part of your question?
Spending county tax dollars to recruit retail.
If the county does not have a recruiting office, get one and recruit people to come in here. Bring in John Doe or Mary Smith and get started and go from here, there, and get them to come in. The governor of Tennessee and past governors, they go out of the country to get people to come here. We can go out of Giles County and get people to come here. And also, here's something else you can do. We bring in Mr. Badu and his family to work here. But before he gets here, the county can give him a package that gives him maps, the name of real estate dealers, companies in Pulaski, to help him decide to come here. If I give you more icing on your cake, you might eat more cake. You might come here as opposed to Shelbyville, Jackson, or whatever. But to answer your question, some incentives would be good.
Before we go further, I'd like to give anybody else, I know Mr. Glover had a little bit more that he wanted to say, so give everybody another chance to add if there was anything else they wanted to add.
Well, I didn't address the part of the question having to do with the interstate. Sure, it would be great to see more businesses in places where nothing is happening at certain interstate exits that we have, but there is a plan in place. We have an agency who is actively working for the county to do those things. So, our focus should be on our children and the education system. And if you've been listening at all the past 2 nights, our biggest issue is where are we going to find more money for our school system? We have raised the maintenance of effort in a way twice to give our teachers raises just to get us above state minimums. So that absolutely has to be our focus. And if it means encouraging businesses to come along and it'll help in that effort, absolutely.
Mr. Glover, did you have something else you wanted to add?
Yes, I didn't mention the interstates, the exits. I'm really for bringing in industry or just businesses on the interstates. Bringing in tax dollars from off the interstate, people traveling back and forth. But I want it to be good, clean businesses, not strip joints, beer joints, and taverns. Now, I know it brings in tax dollars, but we don't need them tax dollars. Take it where we can, community can say we're proud of our county, not ashamed of what do you got this place down here for? I've heard that many times. I want to see it kept clean.
Mr. Sutton, would you like to add anything else?
Yes, having an industry, like Mr. Glover said, a big one near the interstate is good because in Giles County, where exit 22 is, we got some semi-level land. That helps out a whole lot. You go to our neighboring counties, they got a lot of level land that helps out. Plus the fact in Alabama and Huntsville, they got 2 or 3 plants coming up, already going. They near the interstate. You can get to it, get out. It attracts people. Thank you.
Thank you.
You all have touched on this subject of economic development, and we're going to talk about that just a little bit. Economic development works for the city and county jointly to bring in business and industry. And business and industry is economic development. An expansion of our tax base is also economic development. Housing is economic development. How do you see the commission working with economic development to expand our tax base and get more taxpayers into Giles County?
Start with Mr. Glover.
Well, I've never been a county commissioner. I'll have to see some of their proposals and plans to see what they have to offer. But I do have good common sense sometimes, and I think I can sit down and decide what is being proposed to us, if that's going to be something that will bring industry in, businesses or anything like that. And you have to just weigh it out and see what you've got. It's just like working with budgets and stuff like that. It's hard to comment on them until you actually see them. You put these proposals out, let me see what you've got and what you're talking about. Then we can see, I've got questions afterwards, we'll work with it. But right now, I've not been a county commissioner, so I don't have a whole lot I can say about that.
Yes, sir.
There is a gentleman that works for the city and helps the county, economic development director. And we have 2 industrial parks. So we can offer these parks, plots on these parks for you to bring your factory in here. And to that man's credit, he is pursuing industry and has been for the last year. But the county can help him if he will let us, because you don't want to go in another man's territory and tell him what to do. And you don't do that. Maybe somehow the commission, the county government can work with him to help get more industry here. Solicit them, talk to them, encourage them. And another thing, when you bring them to town, show them different parts of town and different groups of people in the town. There are people on the north, south, east, and west side, not just one block. Maybe if they talk to more people, a more diverse group, it may help to get them to come here. And like I said, the interstate is nearby. It helps us to get product in and out of town. So talk to the people you've been talking to, but don't stay in one place. Go somewhere else. And modify your plan if you have one. We got 3 gentlemen up here wearing 3 different color shirts, as opposed to white and a black tie. If you diversify some, you maybe get somebody's attention, and maybe they'll come this way. But if you sit on it, they're not coming here. No.
Mr. Baddour.
Well, it's interesting because, some questions that have been asked tonight and answered deal with people coming here from all over as an issue. But this question really presents it as perhaps part of the solution, bringing new people in. Hate to name drop, but, wonderful family, the Kirkpatricks, have come in and done wonderful things with their investment and commitment to their move here, and have turned properties around that are wonderful. And Kitchen 218 is just another great example of that. Knox Vanderpool was using the example last night of Tim's Ford Lake. You know, these families are building beautiful, wonderful new homes, and therefore they can afford, through their increased tax base, to better fund their schools, and they're building new schools. So I think we need to decide as a community whether we see people coming in as a problem or part of the solution. And if we see it as the solution, to really come together culturally and welcome and encourage that, and to not look back. Because ultimately we have to really take every means possible to create more funding for the schools.
Let me just reframe that question just a little bit and get you to comment each on it again. Business and industry is important. Economic development is already working to bring that in. What is another facet of economic development that we can use to increase our tax base? In other words, if we had a larger workforce, our existing business and industry would expand if they had more workers. And I know this is kind of the chicken and egg question. Do we build amenities to bring people, or do we wait on people to build amenities? How do we work this to have another avenue of economic development?
Mr. Sutton, we'll start with you.
Correct me if I'm wrong, another avenue for economic development. Is that what you were saying?
Yes, an increased tax base as opposed to increased taxes.
One of the things I think you can do is use businesses here to get more youngsters involved in that business. For example, Pulaski Elective has an internship. Who else has one? Who else is willing to start one? That would get high school students concerned about working with that company, maybe staying with that company, and if they stay, they're going to stay here, which means they're going to buy a house, which means we get some more tax money. It's not going to be a big thing. It's going to take care of it. It is not a big thing. It's going to be settled quickly. You got to keep doing it, keep doing it, and keep doing it. And you also need to do this. Get the best people you can while you're recruiting. So, John, you pull a 4-point. We want you to come work for us. Make it known we want you. If we get him, we might get some more people and some more engineers, doctors, whatever the case may be. Right now, I'm going to stop when I'm running out of words.
Mr. Badura.
One idea that comes to mind is through collaboration with the school board, perhaps exploring better ways to promote feeder programs into our technical paths. I have great friends, one who's here tonight. TCAT serves our community, I think, in ways that go unthanked. The high school I worked at in South America was a technical school where the students actually decided freshman year which path, really they're deciding their career earlier on than we traditionally do. As opposed to getting out of college or getting out of high school and choosing then, to really promote career paths earlier on, and so that recent high school graduates are better qualified sooner to work more advanced jobs. And meanwhile, the county chamber economic development commission is promoting the fact that we have that population already here, as opposed to trying to recruit the people to come fill those jobs.
I know I'm going to go back to the education part of that too. How can we bring in people, bring in money? How can we help the county, whatever? It's all going to boil back down to your education. We got to educate our people here. And we're going to have better teachers. We're going to have schools. We're going to have to teach them better stuff in school. Now, used to be we had to learn the 3 R's, reading, writing, arithmetic. We heard last night from a member from the school board that we barely just break it even with a C in reading, writing, and arithmetic. But in diversity, we're a B+. Now, how many times y'all seen people out here that high school students, graduates and stuff, and they're working at Dollar General store or wherever, and they can't even count? And they have to use their phones for a calculator so they can make change. We're not teaching them what we need to be teaching them. So yes, we do need better education, but we also need better teachers that's committed to teaching. And the only way we're going to do that is bring in better teachers. We're going to have to spend a little bit of money or whatever we have to get better teachers. We get the education here, we're going to have the people here that industry and stuff going to come in and say, these are the people we want working in our factories and our shops and stuff like that. We're going to have to educate people. We're going to have to get things in order if we're going to bring in stuff. And I think that's one thing we can really do.
Next question, we'll continue with the education. Seems to be a common thread through some of these questions. So the question now is, do you think the county commission has done enough in its efforts to fund schools? And what would you add to that discussion as a county commissioner?
Happy to take that question first. Do I think the county commission has done enough? Well, I think they've done a great job. We can always do more and we can always do better. So as opposed to looking back and being critical, well, speaking of, have they done enough? They raised teachers' pay. Well, they're set to raise the teachers' pay for the second time next week. I think the last pay raise was 2 years ago. This is no easy task given the economic climate we're in and just the reality of our budget. But yes, they've done a good job. But I guess the second part was, what would I add to that?
Yes.
Well, first, I would encourage voters who are listening, whether you're here tonight or listening to us online, to seriously consider voting yes on August 4th or in the early voting to extend this local sales tax option to the county. I think, to say it's a no-brainer may come off as condescending. I don't mean to do that, but I think so far we've heard unanimous agreement that is one way that our county can begin earning more money to direct half of which to the schools. So we need to do everything. And so I would, if there's any reason I'm here tonight, if you don't ever hear from me again, if I don't get elected, I just want to emphasize that tonight, to vote yes on that. I would encourage you. But in terms of additional ideas, I do think, some of the school board members were asked, can cuts be made from the top down or from the bottom up, or is the focus really being put on the students? I do believe the school board does all they can with the budget that we're allowed to give them, and it's our job as commissioners to carve out as much money for the educational system as we can.
Okay, I like the way he put that about, county commissioners, do you think they've done their best job they can? Yes, but they also handled the budgets, the sheets. You have to look at them. And yes, we give this amount of money to the schools. We give this much money for this. But now on the school, on the education side, we could probably give more money to the schools if we go back and look at the budgets real closely. Now, I know even in my home budget, I can always go back and find some fat that can be trimmed. Places where money's being wasted or not misused. See, that could be going towards it. Now, are we going to have to raise taxes? Possible. But I would look for all this little fat first to see if I could trim a little of it, as much of it, before I started raising my taxes. I don't like taxes, but I'll pay them if I have to. But I don't like taxes. First, I would want to go back and look where I could trim some of this fat so more money is available for the schools. That's what I want to look at. A lot of times, if some money may be just frivolously given to someone, and I don't approve of it. Well, as a commissioner, I'll be one of the 21. If elected, we'll get to decide a nay on it. Now, sometimes it may be a good idea to give the money. Then I can be a yay. I just want my part in seeing what's coming up, look at the budgets. And I don't want a budget brought to me and say, here, you got 2 days to look at it. No, I want to be able to look at it thoroughly, then see what's going on and make a wise decision. I mean, I've worked on budgets for General Motors for, like I said, 35 years. I've been doing my own. And I believe I can handle budgets. I love numbers. I've been doing that all my life. And I can bring that to the county. Thank you.
Mr. Sutton.
For those who know me, this is a personal issue. Get wound up sometimes talking about education. I am pro-education, have been, and will continue to be pro-education. Dealing with funds, the county has worked to get more money into the budget this year and recent years. Financial management has been on the case 24/7. They need to be a part of the work they do. The school system gets X amount of dollars. There's an item that was mentioned last night called maintenance of effort. We might be able to pull some more money out of that to help the schools. I'm not going to say you can't, say it might happen. But we have to work, we have to realize in the near future, we're going to have to find other sources of revenue that may mean reducing some of the working staff. But at the same time, you got to be careful who you cut. You don't cut a school that has 2 janitors down to 1. That's not good business. That's just an example. If you've been spending money going from point A to point B in a big luxury coach, you might want to reconsider that. That might save you some money. But Mr. Glover makes one point, evaluate the budget, but also recognize that the county commission works with the financial management to help make the budget good. For a while there, they went from 7 people to 5 people, and then they're back up to 7. But in military terms, financial management are the people you want in a foxhole with you to help you get from point A to point B. They are soldiers. Believe that. Thank you.
Are we close to the end? One more question, and can we use this one for a wrap-up too? Yeah. The way it's going to be framed. Gentlemen, you will use this to answer your final question and your wrap-up. What is one goal you would like to see the county reach over the next 4 years, and how would you approach making that goal happen as a county commissioner?
Everybody will have 3 minutes on this.
Beginning with?
Oh, sorry.
Well, I hate to sound like a broken record here, because it is important to be creative and have ideas, a vast array of ideas, but if there's one goal, it's create and seek and identify all the ways that we can fund the schools more adequately. In all the ways that we've talked about exploring so far tonight in our answers, and then some, all of the above. We need to have these conversations. We need to have dinner among commissioners to collaborate more and not just show up on the monthly meetings and see which ideas, connect or not. We need to create a culture. We need to all understand that this is the top priority. And if I'm supposed to use this also as a wrap-up, I appreciate you putting up with my answers, and appreciate Scott Stewart for putting all this together, and the Pulaski Citizen, UT Southern for having us. It's an honor to be here and to be involved. I sure hope that this is not the last real dialogue that I get to have on these issues, as I'm really just, I have no way of knowing all the ways that we can do better until I get in there myself. And to look at the budget is one thing, but to really dig down into it and dissect it and see where we can cut that fat, I just look forward to that. And I ask for your vote on August 4th. Thank you.
One more time, question.
I don't forgot it. What is one goal you would like to see the county reach over the next 4 years, and how would you play a part in that?
I do remember hearing something about us being debt-free, if I'm correct. I think I heard that. I'd like to see us at the end of 4 years still being debt-free, and I'd like to see it in 4 years, this education being addressed. I'd like to see the ambulance services and stuff increased, more ambulance drivers. I'd like to see the sheriff's department receive more deputies and take care of that. And let's see, what else? Anything else in there? I want to see Giles County growing. I like to see industry coming clean, healthy. I like to see it be a decent place that we raise our children. I am a member over at East Hill Church of Christ. I'm a deacon there, and I teach class. And I don't like the direction of things in our counties where it's going, but I think you get some right people in as county commissioners, we can make some changes, keep things improving, growing, doing as it should be doing, but we can do it with some good common sense. One thing I've found through the years is common sense nowadays is not very common. And I like to put a little more common sense back in, even in the county commissioners. And think about things before we just jump on them. Make decisions we can be proud of. And everybody else can look back and say, you've done a good job. I'm going to have a lot of growing here and learning my job, but I'm up to challenges. I enjoy challenges, always have been, and I always will be. And I want to thank y'all all for coming out tonight. I thank y'all all for being interested in politics, learning along as I'm learning along. And may God bless all of y'all. Y'all have a good night.
Mr. Sutton.
The question was narrowed down to one item, and for me, that's hard to do. Okay, one, improving the schools with our refurbishing plan, which is going to take 2 or 3 years or more because you can't get the equipment and the cost is going up. That will help. Giving teachers more, that helps. It was mentioned earlier about the infrastructure. Yes, that means the highway department needs more money to fix the road so you can get from point A to point B. That's important. More ways to get funds for the county government to take care of the county. Another thing is not really written down, but county leaders, city leaders, and other folks need to sit down and talk more often and share ideas. You don't have to agree all the time, but get them to listen to what you have to say. It might not work this year, it could work next year. We'll see. The internet with Wi-Fi across the county, I'd like to see that taken care of in the next 4 years. I don't know if we're going to get a new high school in the next 4 years, but let's fix the ones we got. We are working on it. Keep working it. And another thing that's not written in the rule is that John Q. Public needs to understand he can come and talk to us. Visit. Miss Green's office is open. I shouldn't say 24/7. That's not fair, not right. But you can come by and talk to the lady. You can send her texts. You can come by and leave her a message written down. She will get back to you. Maybe not that day, but she will get back and talk to you. And one other thing, with more than one other. If you want to get, as a military men in here, they understand this. You sit down and develop a plan to get from point A to point B. You understand you might have some potholes getting there, but you keep working. We need to talk more and plan more instead of fussing and fighting. You're not going to get there fussing and fighting, pure and simple. I'm trying to wind down. Some of y'all know what that means. A great Republican once said, divided we fall, together we stand. And that's what Giles County needs to do, what the commission needs to do to help Giles County move. Finally, my words of appreciation and thanks to Mr. Scott Stewart, the citizen, to the vendors who paid, I'm going to say money to help this come about. Thank you to UT Southern, I almost said UT Martin, UT Southern for being the host and on such short notice. One more thing. I'm on the ballot. I'd appreciate your vote.
Thank you, guys. And don't forget the candidates. If you want to talk to Kelly, she's down here in the front. She'll talk to you guys. Before we go, I would like to once again remind everybody that these following folks have pitched in to help cover the cost of this venue tonight for these 3 nights. They jumped in as soon as we asked them, and we want to make sure we say thank you. Kitchen 218, Melissa Green for County Executive, Graham Stowe for County Executive, Friends of Exit 14, Ace LLC Solar, and Giles Hotel Inn and Suites. I'd also like to say real quick that we want to thank our sponsors that allow us to stream this. That would be First Realty Group, Haney Realty and Property Management, Giles County Fire and Rescue, Holly's Printing, as well as M&M Staffing LLC. Tomorrow night will be a little longer. We're going to have several more folks up here, but we're going to get everybody's say on this before we go. Hey, one thing I'd like to say, lots been said up here tonight, but the one thing that's been said a lot is be involved, and that is something that's near and dear to my heart, because if you're not involved, you don't know what's going on. You can't really make an educated decision, which is why we're here tonight. Thank you, guys. We'll see y'all tomorrow night.